Sam Ehlinger declared Texas football is back. Now it's time to back it up. Texas opens the 2019 season tonight against Louisiana Tech.
Longhorn Nation, we're back. Let's go! Let's go! That's it, ready. Let's go!
Last time we saw the Longhorns, they were taking down Georgia in the Sugar Bowl for win number 10. That gets them in the preseason top 10 for the first time in nearly a decade. This is how 2018 went down. 10 wins, the most since 2009. 5 wins against the AP top 25, the school record. Ehlinger, 79% of the touchdowns for the Longhorns. And Tom Herman, 2 seasons, 2 bowl wins, both against the SEC. With that, hello and welcome to Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. Lo Galindo, back with my guy, Ahmad Brooks. Hey, you know how it works at the University of Texas. The football team wins 10 games. Next season, what do you got to do? At least win 10 games. So what should the expectations be?
Well, I think that's the same mark, and I think that's the standard that has been set. But when you start to talk about last season, this is a team that, was narrowly almost the Big 12 champions.
Yep.
And so I think if you're one of the leaders in the locker room, you're telling all of your guys, our expectations are to win a championship. And if you win a championship, a Big 12 title, guess what? That also puts you in the mix for the college football playoff. That man right there, Tom Herman, I think at some point this season is not going to dodge the fact that this is a championship caliber team looking to win a championship.
And this Texas fan base has no problem at all buying into those expectations because they got a quarterback, right? Texas is in its best spot with a Heisman contender at quarterback for the first time since 2009 with Colt McCoy. What's the next step for Sam Ehlinger? Because he put up Colt-esque numbers a year ago.
Well, it's going to be hard for him to match those numbers, and you almost hope he doesn't. That means someone else is producing. But you saw him in his freshman year. He wasn't quite the closer that he was in his sophomore campaign.
Yep.
I think he's got to continue that same type of consistency. But now it's about leading the entire team. Last year, he was the leader of the offense. This year, he must take this team by the horns, if you will, and make sure everybody understands that this is his team, this is his year, and the Horns are back.
Most touchdowns in the season for the Longhorns since Colt McCoy. Colt the only one with more in a single campaign. And the scary thing is for the opposition, Ehlinger says coming into this year, a much better grasp of the offense and more confidence in what he's doing overall than at the start of last season.
More reps, and then I think Tim Beck and Tom Herman has also given him more authority at the line of scrimmage.
And through the construction zone, they go. The 2019 Texas Longhorns. So there are a lot of people that like to talk trash about Sam Ehlinger, but then the guys in the business, the opposing coaches, high praise. Skip Holtz, Louisiana Tech's head coach, said that he feels Ehlinger means to Texas what Tim Tebow meant to Florida.
And all that means is that you produce touchdowns, and that's exactly what we saw from this young man a year ago. And you go back to his first games here as a Longhorn, you knew for sure, right, that this guy, you didn't expect him. He wasn't closing ball games. He wasn't producing points, but he flipped the switch. And at that point, this young man started to play with 41 touchdowns. He had a heck of a year last year.
Great connection from head coach to quarterback. Here is the head coach, Tom Herman, with Taylor Davis.
Thanks, guys. Coach, coming off a very successful year, but you're emphasizing new year, new team. What excites you about this group?
The chemistry. These guys really like each other. They like being around each other. And you can tell they're ready to play hard for each other.
Well, the season is finally here, so what have been some points of emphasis to start the season off strong?
Just trust your training. There's going to be adversity, but we train for chaos. We train for adversity, how to respond to it. I think these guys are confident and ready to do that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Confidence sky high, and that's a large reason why with Sam Ehlinger going into his junior season. And you see the numbers, 16 rush touchdowns for a quarterback. That's the most ever. And then the total yards, pass yards, and wins, all the best numbers since Colt McCoy.
And I thought it was the fashion in which he did it as well. I mean, he did it very cool, calm, collected, and he took over this team a season ago.
Now you got Skip Holtz on the other side for Louisiana Tech going into season number 7, coming off an 8-5 campaign. They won the Hawaii Bowl. What's alluded then are two things that Holtz feels like they have a shot to accomplish this season: 10 wins and a Conference USA title.
One thing, they've been competitive. I think you go back to 2016, they lost at Arkansas by 1. You go back to 2017, they lost to South Carolina by 1. Last year, it came down to the wire on the road in Baton Rouge versus the Tigers, 24-21 with 9 minutes left. The one thing that you know about Skip Holtz's team, they're not going to be scared of this type of environment. He's got some veteran players and some guys with experience on that side of the field, and Skip Holtz is expecting his team to perform well.
So it's a night game, but it is smoking hot outside.
Indeed.
Par for the course
Texas
here in
heat.
Austin, Texas. This is one of the hottest camps that the Longhorns have had this decade. And for Louisiana Tech, Ruston, Louisiana, that's not exactly a cool spot either. Temp right now at 95 degrees. It will dip as the sun goes down. But by no means is this going to be a cool evening. Hydration will be key for both sides.
And I think even when you start to talk about some of the spots where both teams are thin on the depth chart, as a coach, you've got to make sure you protect your players, especially early on in the year. You don't want them to press too hard. And as a player, you've got to know your body. Make sure, as you said, hydrating and doing the right things, the proper things, so that you can be strong enough to finish this game in the fourth quarter.
Louisiana Tech won the toss. They deferred. That means Texas will receive. And back deep for the Longhorns, Devin Duvernay. Jake Smith has also stepped on the field, and the return team as well. The National Gatorade High School Player of the Year. Sky-high expectations for him as well. Bailey Held to kick it away for the Bulldogs. Welcome to the 2019 season. Duvernay from his 5 to the right side. A stiff arm, sideline, and to the 44-yard line. Great field position to set up Sam Ehlinger. 79% of the Longhorns touchdowns, highest percentage in the Big 12 since Colin Klein in 2011.
He means a lot to this team, and because of that, someone has to step up and be the number 2, number 3 playmaker on this offense. I don't believe that it's in Texas' best interest for Sam to produce those types of numbers again this season.
His co-leader offensively will make the snap, the senior, Zach Shackelford, for what should be an improved Texas offensive line. Keontae Ingram starts off at running back. Duvernay in motion. They swing it to him. And a flag on the play. Looks like that could be a face mask on Louisiana Tech.
A personal foul, grabbing the face mask by number 1 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So that is a face mask on L'Jarius Sneed. You may remember him as a young man that was talking some noise about the Texas receivers leading up to the game.
Well, you better believe that all the Texas wide receivers heard that, and everybody in that locker room made sure that they remembered his number.
From the 40. To Ingram, left side, good hole, to the 30, and out of bounds, just shy of the 20-yard line. Keontae Ingram up to 220. He is bulked up in the offseason.
And that was one of my main concerns, Lo, was that he had, as they get into their hurry-up offense, that he still had that explosive burst to break the big one.
The Ascension Impact Players brought to you by Dell's Children's Ingram on that list. Ellinger pump faking, checking down to Duvernay. Another stiff arm and fighting for an extra few yards. This is an inexperienced Louisiana Tech defense. First year under Bob Diaco, making the transition from a four-man front to a three-man front, and losing the all-time leading sack artist in FBS history, Jalen Ferguson. Red zone opportunity. Again to Duvernay, and met immediately by Michael Sam.
Well read on the part of the Bulldogs there. Excellent jump on the ball as Sam read the RPO and managed to get to the screen. But one of the other trends is that you've also noticed is Duvernay has been very involved in this first drive. He's now occupying the space that little Jordan Humphrey did a season ago. He's moved from the outside to the inside. Expect to see him be involved more this season.
Combo red zone scoring and third down conversion time for Texas. Swing to Ingram. Good block on the left side by Sam Cosme, and the Longhorns will move the chains.
That is a big-time block from Cosme, as you mentioned, and he's very athletic. You see the left tackler get out in front of the running back and just drive the defensive back. Those are the types of plays you have to make.
Duvernay again. Left side stays on his feet, and inside the 5-yard line, brought out by Darrell Lewis. Duvernay, popular target on the opening drive.
And I think this is also trying to soften up the box where you can get fewer numbers inside and take advantage of those one-on-one matchups.
Quick pass, Duvernay will waltz in, and Texas is on the board at 2019.
Well, this was the thing. You came out here and you had an opportunity to see that they were jamming numbers in the box, trying to prevent Sam Ellinger from doing what he was supposed to do. The reality of it is when you have those types of numbers, you've got to find space on the outside. Duvernay on that little bubble screen, making things happen and surprising the defense.
5 catches. 15 yards for Duvernay on that opening drive. Scoring from 4 yards out, and also drew that face mask to help Texas get on the board first. How does that compare to what you thought you would see on an opening drive?
Well, number one, the pace of play, right? I thought once they got some momentum and you get a big play out of your backs, then next thing you know, Sam's up there and they're going, hurry up. And they just decided to press the gas. The other thing I noticed is Sam Ellinger did not have a carry. And that's a positive sign, right? You have other playmakers getting involved in this offense, something that I think down the road, and especially next week with the Bayou Bengals coming into town, something that you need to see.
That's some physical football to start. Some key blocks there from Cosby and Colin Johnson, both on that touchdown drive. 7 plays, 57 yards after a really nice return from Devin Duvernay to start it off. So it was his drive. Cameron Dicker to kick it away. Short of the end zone. Smoke Harris with the return. And he's brought down at the 23-yard line. So there is experience at quarterback for Louisiana Tech as well. Jamar Smith about to do something that no one actively playing college football has done. 4 straight starts in season openers for Jamar Smith. The junior season didn't take this step that a lot of the people expected him to do around Ruston. Israel Tucker, the starting running back, and he gets the first carry going up the middle. And the Texas line stands tall. Malcolm Roach with the opening tackle. And now for the Ascension Impact Players, brought to you by Dell Children's.
Yeah, definitely on that side of the ball, they've got to keep an eye on Hardy. Rusty is a very experienced center. I'm looking for the matchup between he and Coburn. And Malcolm Roach is looking to take the same leap that Poona Ford, along with Charles Omenihu, did a season ago. And in the middle, you will see Odeyaway.
Hardy, a 1,000-yard receiver from last season, quickly goes to the sideline. That throw is behind, but it's hauled in by Griffin Hebert for the first reception for the Bulldogs. Hardy has checked back in, number 6 in white, but it looks like he's favoring his leg and has come off the field again. It may be an equipment malfunction as Hardy is getting checked out on the sideline. Good hole, right side. Closed quickly, but not after a 6-yard gain. Brown and McCulloch with the stop. So it's a Texas defense that loses for the second straight year the Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year. First it was Poona Ford, now it's Charles Omenihu. They lose Gary Johnson, 2 new starting cornerbacks as well. The rollout and a strike delivered, and Louisiana Tech goes to Hebert again. They are cooking now in Longhorns territory.
That's just a good play call. And you know, as Louisiana Tech gets in Smith's direction, you get them going one way, they boot on the opposite side, and now it's a good throw on the run, puts it right on the money.
Hardy is checked back into the game. He's at the bottom of the screen. To Tucker, met by Malcolm Roach for a loss. Malcolm Roach has decided he wants to take over this Texas defense.
Well, and the one thing that you've seen early on from him in his career, he's very athletic. This is just a nice job of beating the block and making a play in the backfield. And those types of negative plays really does give Todd Orlando an opportunity to really heat up the pocket, apply pressure on the quarterback. And in these types of situations, if you're a defensive lineman, once you've done work like that, now you're looking for an opportunity to really get after the quarterback.
Roach will have back-to-back games against programs from his home state of Louisiana. Smith with time, a BB over the middle, and first down yardage on the delivery to C.J. Powell.
It's finding space. Powell sits it down right in the middle of that zone. Wasn't occupied. Jones doing a good job of wrapping up for the tackle.
The ride to Tucker and a short game. You mentioned it off the top of this broadcast. Bulldogs ain't going to flinch. Saw Mississippi State, went to LSU a season ago to open it up. Skip Holtz in this program, they will play upper echelon teams.
Absolutely.
Smith over the middle, off the fingertips as he was looking for Powell.
And you're seeing a trend right here. The trend is they're trying to attack the middle of the field. Why would you do that? Because you got a lot of young inside linebackers that are still trying to figure it out in terms of how to read the run versus dropping back in coverage.
Delay. And that is swallowed up. Marquez Bimmage, Josh Thompson there to meet Tucker at the line.
This is what's so fun about Todd Orlando's defense. It's a 4-man rush, but he adds the nickelback Josh Thompson as the 4th rusher. And if you're Jamar, the quarterback, you're trying to identify because they've got a 3-man front. You know somebody else is coming, but you have to determine who that is usually after the snap.
3rd and 13. Pressure, dump down, and that will be short of the first down by C.J. Powell as B.J. Foster brings him down.
They're keeping their offense out here.
Smith checks with the sideline, and now we have the chain as Bailey Hale says, we'll take over from here, and the special teams unit will enter for the Bulldogs.
Well, they better hurry up. You've only got 15 seconds now on the play clock to execute this field goal attempt.
Hale, a senior from Iowa Park, Texas, 15-22 a season ago. This from 43. And that is no good, wide right. Texas defense and special teams hold.
And that might have been tipped there by what it appeared to be maybe Coburn. Got a hand on that ball.
So the Texas offense strikes first on its opening drive. The Texas defense holds, and it is 7-0 Longhorns. And it could have been tipped by Malcolm Roach. A year ago, the Texas defense allowed 51 points on the opening drive, the sixth most in the Bowl subdivision. Tremendous start for Todd Orlando and his defense here as they are able to hold. A missed field goal leaves Louisiana Tech blank. Second offensive possession for Sam Ehlinger and the Texas offense. Do they go back to Devin Duvernay here? Ingram remains in at running back. Cade Brewer in motion. Ingram the carry up the middle. James Jackson with the stop. Six-yard gain for Keontae Ingram. Ehlinger, clean pocket, looking deep for Colin Johnson. One-handed catch, no!
Yeah, if you're on the Texas sideline, you're thinking that might have been a little contact, but you almost saw what he's capable of doing. I mean, this guy has tremendous ball skills, the height, and in that time, and when you have a one-on-one opportunity and you're Sam Ehlinger, throw it up to your top wide receiver, Colin Johnson, who this Texas staff is expecting to have a big season here in Austin.
Ingram out wide, empty backfield for Ehlinger. The Bulldogs trying to force a 3-and-out. Looking left, Duvernay with catch number 5.
Yeah, and Sam
We're just into the second possession of the game for the Longhorns, and Duvernay is one catch shy of his career high.
Yeah, Sam likes that matchup, and that time there, in this pre-snap read, he saw what they were giving him in terms of coverage and went to their weak spot.
Now that inside slot position, that was the go-to spot for Ehlinger a season ago. A little trickery here. Direct snap to Ingram. Bounces it right side. And a nice gain of 8 yards on first down.
I like it. As Jordan Whittington comes onto the field, Keontae Ingram already off to a big start.
So Jordan Whittington, the much ballyhooed true freshman from Cuero, checks in. Protecting Ehlinger. Ehlinger will run for the first time, showing some shiftiness and has enough for first down yardage.
I like that decision there. You know, and there was nothing open downfield. You had two wide receivers in the route. Brennan Eagles on the backside, and then you had Colin Johnson, and they were both covered up well by the Bulldogs secondary. And so he just takes the easy money, moves the chains. Now you get a fresh set of downs.
But you're excited to see this youngster, Jordan Whittington, the number 39 ranked recruit in the ESPN 300, making his Texas debut.
Yeah, I think he gets a touch right here. I think you put this one on the ground and break in your new freshman.
Ehlinger going back, and he finds Malcolm Epps. Epps with his first catch of the season. Sky's the limit with Malcolm Epps with that frame. Huge receiving corps. And now Jake Smith has checked into the game, but quickly comes out. So a quick change as we thought we saw another of the heralded freshmen on this drive. Right side, Whittington to the 40-yard line. Jordan Whittington, the former Cuero Gobbler, third youngest of 10 siblings, second-ranked athlete on the 2019 ESPN 300 and led Cuero first state title in 31 years. And the state title game had 334 yards. Tom Herman didn't know exactly what they would do with him, offered initially as a safety and maybe a receiver. He's never played running back before, and he looks pretty good, according to the coaches. 3rd and 3, looking for Malcolm Epps. And Amik Robertson with some solid defense. And with Robertson pumped up, the Louisiana Tech secondary, that's a legit upper echelon corner.
What I like about him is he's a little bit smaller, but this is what they were referring to earlier. When you've got these tall wide receivers, they give you a lot to jam at the line. That's an excellent job of getting into the chest of Epps and forcing his route a different direction as they attempt this 4th down here.
4th and 3. Quick to the right side, Colin Johnson, first down, trying to break free for more. Ball is out. And it's Louisiana Tech football. The recovery.
Yeah, this
the ruling
is a fumble.
on the field was a catch, a fumble, and recovery by the defense. First down.
And that is Connor Taylor with the recovery and the strip. 2nd year at Louisiana Tech. He was one of the most prolific JUCO linebackers in the nation before coming to Ruston. And a big turn of events here for the Bulldogs as they rip that one free from Colin Johnson.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Coors Light, official sponsor of the Texas Longhorns.
That's the Frank Dinius family, University of Texas Athletics Hall of Fame. And its grand opening on Friday, the north end zone. It is breathtaking. You walk in, you immediately see the Longhorn, the conference championships. They've permanently moved inside. Ricky Williams, Earl Campbell, Jody Conrad, Darrell Royal. A must-see for every Texas fan out there. So Louisiana Tech taking over at the 25. Smith, a rocket. And there's some contact, but intended receiver, C.J. Powell, Chris Brown in coverage.
And this was just a phenomenal.
Number 73 of the offense. It's a 10-yard penalty and replay first down.
And if you're wondering how they got the ball, Connor Taylor, the senior linebacker, with a brilliant play here. The forced fumble and the recovery. And it was just great awareness. Typically when you're coming from that backside, a ball carrier is not aware you're there. But it was the hustle, the grit, and then the technique at the end of that for what will be one of his best plays on the year.
And he's got the flow to go along with it. The 2017 NCAA National Player of the Year. 1st and 20 for Jamar Smith. Dumps it over the middle. Good burst from Tucker, but hello, hit hard by Jeffrey McCulloch.
And Texas is dropping back numbers, rushing 4. And Jamar, with his experience, sees that, recognizes it in the defense, and throws to his check down. Easy money and good yardage.
With that pass, Jamar Smith just passed Terry Bradshaw for the 5th most passing yards in Louisiana Tech history. Incomplete as he was looking for Adrian Hardy. And Smith and Hardy wanted some contact on that play. So still some ground to make up on Retaine McCown. 2 of the all-time legends at Louisiana Tech. 3rd and 11. What kind of chaos does Todd Orlando have in store?
In these types of situations, he likes to do 1 or 2 things. He's either going to rush 3 or 4 and drop numbers back, or he's going to bring the house, 5 or 6 man blitz, and they're going to come from anywhere.
Here comes the pressure. Smith eludes it, throwing on the run, and what a catch! Over the middle, complete, and to the 50-yard line, it's Malik Stanley, the transfer from South Alabama.
Yeah, and the DB thought that he knocked the ball down. And you watch the end of this play, And the wide receiver, that's part of the reason he stops on the play and he starts celebrating. Excellent job by Jamar to get outside of the pocket, but the defensive back thinks that he made a play on the ball. Horrible mistake.
Boy started to celebrate, but how about the move from Smith to elude B.J. Foster? Almost takes a hit, chucking it to Hardy. High points it, but good defense on the play by Jalen Green.
I'm not exactly sure what this young man was thinking here, and these are a lot of young members in the secondary as Foster just gets stooped by Jamar. But here, just thinking he makes a play on the ball, I'm not sure how that happens. And I'm pretty sure Jason Washington, the defensive back coach, the cornerback coach, when he comes off to the sideline, will make sure he understands that's a no-no.
Texas breaking in 2 new starting quarterbacks with Jalen Green and Kobe Boyce. Jaquise Dancy, the running back. Going inside, Chris Brown with the tackle for loss.
And I think the thing that makes this defense so hard to score points against is you go from having a defensive lineman rush the passer to a small, quick guy. And so for that quarterback, that clock that's already going fast in your head goes even faster when they start to bring members of the secondary. And that was an excellent blitz from Chris Brown, who's been coming on since last year and had an excellent fall camp.
Roach, the only lineman on the field for this 3rd and 12 look. Empty backfield for Jamar Smith. And a timeout called.
Texas calls their first timeout of the half. Media timeout.
Louisiana Tech trying to cash a turnover in the points. Long road ahead with the 3rd and 12 coming up. We just saw Jamar Smith having a ball on the field, dancing with the music, and I think he just mimicked the move he made on B.J. Foster. This is what he's done on 3rd down. 2 for 2, 32 yards.
This is a different situation on 3rd and long against a taut Orlando defense.
Well, they took a step back on 3rd down compared to season number 1 under Orlando, when they were 3rd nationally in 3rd down percentage. Ballooned to 108 nationally a year ago. Here we go on 3rd and 12. Pressure. Smith somehow eludes it initially, but he is finally brought down by DeMarvion Overshown.
And there goes that 5-man blitz that I was referring to. And you've got Stutz on the defensive line. I mean, look at this mess. You don't know where they're coming from. And the reality of it is as I said, the way that he uses his personnel, they'll change positions. They'll bring a defensive back in a position where a defensive lineman would normally come. And it changes the way the quarterback has to think and the way he sees the field. Excellent job there from the Texas defense to get off the field.
Jake Smith back to receive the punt. Pressure on the punt. This will go short. Smith will not have an opportunity to return as it's set of bounds around the 25. Devin Duvernay started it off with an electric kick return for the Longhorns. Got it close to midfield and kept on producing from there.
Already 5 catches, 22 yards, and a touchdown. He's only had a 9-yard, it's been his longest one, and they've done it just peppering this defense as they're going with one-on-one matchups on the outside edge and trying to force numbers into the box. But he's occupying that role, as we said earlier, of the one that was normally filled by little Jordan Humphrey and doing a good job here.
Completely different look than little Jordan Humphrey, who had one of the most prolific single seasons for a Texas receiver. Ellinger will even tell you it's a different throw. Ellinger will run to the marker, but will be counted out. 2-yard shot.
Excellent decision from Sam, and you notice he ran out of bounds, and that's something as he continues to mature. Take the yardage that the defense is giving you, get out of bounds, live to see the next snap. And a nice job there by the tight end and the running back as they comboed in on the defensive end and just totally flattened him.
And he told us a day ago he's not going to change who he is. As long as Ehlinger is the quarterback, the run game will be featured, whether it's a design run or scrambling, like on that play. Ingram, right side, trying to spin out of the tackle, but a fine job by B.J. Williamson to hold on. We have not talked a lot about Willie Baker, the man that's stepping in to fill the shoes of Jalen Ferguson. Baker, number 85 in white, had 4 sacks in the Hawaii Bowl, made the ESPN.com All-Bowl team. Jake Smith in the slot. Ehlinger was looking that way. Scrambling. Eludes the pressure and takes it to the 45-yard line.
It's great awareness. And it's a nice pocket here. He's very comfortable. Doesn't really feel the heat, and the pressure that did come was because the offensive line was holding those guys for so long. But the awareness and being able to get outside. Took a lot of hits last year. You see that 231 quarterback contacts and hits last season, 7th amongst quarterbacks in FBS.
Quick pass to Smith, his first reception as a Texas Longhorn, and rolls just shy of the first down. Now, when you talk about a quarterback being hit, you go back and you look at that number for quarterbacks at Houston under Herman and Ohio State. That's a common theme. His quarterbacks are going to take hits. That is a big part of his offense.
That's a great point there.
Ingram, right side, and on 3rd and short, it's first down yardage.
If you can get production out of your running back room like this, then he doesn't have to take so many hits.
First quarter in the books for Tom Herman and the 2019 Longhorns. Sam Ehlinger opening up with a touchdown drive capped by Devin Duvernay, finding the end zone, and it's 7-0 Longhorns. Ahmad Bevo was pretty excited. He heard another Bulldog team was going to take on Texas. He was like, wait, are they going to bring a mascot?
He's looking good now. Beefed up.
He's got 2 fans on him. I'd like to borrow one of those from Bevo 15. First snap of the second quarter to Jake Smith, his second catch. Ezekiel Barnett forces him out. Time of possession split pretty evenly. 1 turnover. That was a strip. Connor Taylor against Colin Johnson. Ehlinger over the middle behind Smith and off his hands.
If he puts this ball out in front of Jake,
goodbye.
It's touchdown. I mean, it was the right read. This is that run-pass option. What does that mean? He has the opportunity, Sam, to run the football, to hand it off, or to pass. And you can tell when wide receivers are into their routes. And it really does hold those linebackers, and they're forced to have to defend the run, and then it opens up that space right in behind them. That would have been a touchdown if they connect there.
Brendan Eagles checks into the game. He's at the top of your screen. Malcolm Epps at the bottom. Ehlinger with the sprint to the right side. He's got the first down and a slide. That's going to make Tom Herman and Tim Beck a very happy man.
Well, here's where Sam has developed and evolved. He just sees that there are numbers on this side of the ball. They're favorable for him to run this football. Then he slides on the end of that play. We're seeing the next step of Sam Ehlinger. Very wise, very smart, and he's capable of doing plays like that and continuing to lead his team throughout the year.
Still, I don't know if he slides next week. Smith trying to slip through a tackle, takes it to the 20 before Snead brings him down at 18 yards, the longest reception of young Jake Smith's career.
He's getting some early reps, and he's earned them. And they're just catching the ball outside of his body, and that's the one thing when you watch this kid, all his highlights in high school. Excellent hands, ball skills.
And once again, all the production coming from that inside slot position, Duvernay and Smith. Dumps it down to Whittington. Good cut! And some contact to the 5-yard line. And that's what Tom Herman says makes him so unique. He does not have to chop his feet to cut.
Well, this young man is a special player. And just an excellent job of setting up there, and the burst out of that speed cut was phenomenal.
Ehlinger, the rollout. across his body. End zone and brought in. Hauled in by Colin Johnson for the 6-yard score.
Sam rolling to his right and showing off his big arm and connecting with number 9 for their first touchdown of the year. An excellent concentration there from Colin Johnson. He's such a big body, but he also attacks the football. That's what I love about him. And the more aggressive he gets with defensive backs, the more dangerous he will be throughout this season.
11 plays, 74-yard drive. Dicker makes it 14-0 Texas. Johnson had that early fumble, but he makes up for it as Ehlinger somehow finds a window to get it to a 6'6" target. Some contact on the play. That's a big boy you're throwing it to, though. He can handle it. Colin Johnson hauling in. Career touchdown, number 13. Casey Thompson helping him with the shoulder pads. Big boost for the Texas offense when Colin Johnson announced he would return for his senior season. And sure enough, he will be the go-to guy for Sam Ehlinger in this Texas offense. But that was a methodical, prototypical Texas drive. 11 plays, 74 yards. The 18th touchdown drive of at least 10 plays dating back to the start of last season. One of the highest numbers in the Power 5. Smoke Harris just in front of his goal line, and a big thud put on him by Tyler Owens.
This is great coverage. Nice job of breaking down and attacking the football. That's how you earn more reps on your side of the ball.
The freshman Owens making his first impact play. That's how you get time, right? You do it on special teams. You can ask Kenny Vaccaro all about that. Poor field position here for Louisiana Tech. Starting at the 12. Quick pass to Hebert. Boyce trying to get off the block. And 2 Longhorn defenders are there. Brandon Jones, leader of this Texas secondary, there to make the stop. There's been so much talk about Caden Stearns coming into this season. Talked to a lot of people around the program. Not a slight to Stearns at all, but Brandon Jones is the dude for this Texas defense.
Well, he's definitely the lid on this defense. Perhaps the best tackler on the team. You saw him there just in the open field, running to the football and bringing ball carriers down.
Justin Henderson with the carry. Joseph Osai cannot get him. B.J. Foster forces him out. That will be a first down for the Bulldogs.
Starting to see some of the speed of this Texas defense, though they didn't get to him, but you can see guys moving, hopping over players.
Another true freshman in there on the defensive line, right in the middle. Tavondre Sweat, freshman from Huntsville. Under the radar prospect, getting playing time in his first game. Henderson up the middle, and met quickly by Sweat and Joseph Osai.
Fighting out in the double team there in the middle. Sweat doing an excellent job.
Jamar Smith trying to get that mojo back. He's been good eluding pressure. Quick pass and met immediately by Jalen Green. Green, the sophomore from Houston. We heard from Tom Herman on Monday. He's really earned his spot at corner. The other spot opposite of him is really still being fought out between Kobe Boyce and Deshaun Jameson.
He's very aggressive, but here's where you make your money on third down, being shut down corner. They blocked him up on the backside. Can he do his job?
And a stuff at the line. Ball is out. Osai down and on it. Texas football. Joseph Osai with the first fumble recovery of his career.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
See if that knee's down before that ball gets popped out.
It looks like that will be the case.
Despite that, still a great effort on third down. Getting to the football, standing tall, building a wall.
Texas offense coming out assuming they have control, and it will be their football. Jones was there with Osai to recover, and so far no stoppage. So Texas football at the 37, and here comes the incident replay.
The ruling of a fumble recovered by the defense is under further review.
So they will take another look to see if the knee of Justin Henderson indeed was down. Chris Brown, he has been very active in the early going.
And that's that right hand of Jacoby Jones that knocked it out. It's hard to see underneath that pile if that left knee was down. But I think that's what they're going to be looking at, because the right one is clearly up.
Oh, that's close. I don't know if there's going to be enough there. You can see the ball start to move right there, and the knee is not yet down.
That's an excellent angle, and I think you're right. I don't see enough here to overturn this call. I think this is going to be Texas football.
And how about that play from Jacoby Jones out of Butler Community College, the second-ranked JUCO defensive end this season. He's been a good addition and a game changer through camp.
That's an effort play. You know, when you look at that as that happens, for sure. That's something where you go back and you say that's just a great effort play. You're running to the football. Good things happen when you run to the football like that. And
after further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
So you'll give Jacoby Jones the forced fumble. Brandon Jones got on that before Osai, so give him the fumble recovery. Now great field position for the Texas offense. Ingram, the running back. Play clock winding down to Ingram. Good cuts. And a 9-yard gain for Keontae Ingram.
great vision there as he just squeezes through this hole. Initially, he was headed to the right, and watch this cut here, in and out. And a burst up the middle to dupe the second defender.
And that Texas offensive line, Cosme, Braun, Shackelford, Angulau, and Kerstetter. Looking over the middle. He's got a man wide open in the end zone, and hauling it in is Brennan Eagles. First career touchdown grab for the mascot, Brennan Eagles.
Great protection up front, keeping your quarterback clean. Enough space to throw this football. Eagles catching it outside of his body. Nice route combination on the backside. He actually had two wide receivers open. But Eagles with the touchdown pass, and they're looking for good things coming out of this young man. He had actually won the job before he got banged up in camp.
So only his second career reception. That happened last season when he redshirted. And he strikes with his first ever touchdown grab, 28 yards. For the leader, Sam Ehlinger.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Whataburger. Stop on by Whataburger and try the patty melt today. It's an all-time favorite for a reason.
Hasn't been too much to get hyped for. The previous two season openers under Tom Herman, both losses to the Maryland Terrapins. But with Louisiana Tech in town, Herb Hand has a lot of reason to Get these guys pumped up because this team's playing with a 21-0 lead. Dicker with a kick to the end zone, and the Bulldogs will take over at the 25.
And Sam is just really cooking right now, and he's taking his time. He's going through his reads. And we've seen him miss a few marks to Jake Smith, who would have had another touchdown. But all in all, I mean, 15 of 18, and you're putting up those types of numbers. This is the Sam Allinger that you'll need to see next week in order for Texas to have a shot when LSU rolls into town.
Keandre Coburn back in the center of this Texas defense. To the right side, and a good gain on first down by Israel Tucker. Josh Thompson with the hit. Coburn is going to be an interesting cog for this Texas defense. The way Todd Orlando described him in the spring is like a twitched up bowling ball. The only question with him, according to Orlando, is how long can he go in games? He's a big guy, 6'2", 340. Smith, quick pass, batted down by Joseph Osai.
It's great awareness. If you can't get to the quarterback, and I actually believe that was Chris Brown who might have got a hand on that. As they bring the pressure here with a 5-man blitz, Chris Brown getting right in that squeeze there and knocking that ball down. And he's a playmaker. I mean, you know, this guy they kept, as all these talented defensive backs kept coming in and rolling in, he just continued to fight. The junior from Houston, Texas, done a great job of protecting his position, and that's why he's making plays and he's winning over his players and the coaching staff.
3rd and 6. Bulldogs started hot on 3rd down. They have fizzled since. Overshown, trying to trip him up, but cannot. And a 3rd down conversion. 12 yards to Israel Tucker.
Yeah, he'll want this one back. And he makes the right read. He gets out in front. You got to use that sideline. If you react a little sooner there now, you let that sideline be that last defender and force him to the sideline. Reacted late, and that gave him the space to pick up the first down.
Smith will run up the middle. And about 4 yards, brought down by Marquez Bimage. Smith does still not seem fazed by the Texas defense, by this environment. Saw him make some nice passes early in the game, and has really been shifty and elusive in the backfield. Quick pass. Missed tackle. And into Texas territory is Smoke Harris.
We were just talking about Jamar. Here's his awareness, right? He saw the blitz coming, knew he didn't have time for the fake. What does he do? He gets right into his throw. And if you're Texas and you're Todd Orlando, this is what you don't want to see, these missed tackles. You've seen a few of these that have allowed, right, this Bulldog team to convert. That's something you want to clean up.
Still got to give it up for Smoke Harris in that move.
Oh, sweet move.
Skip Holtz will tell you that's the guy that we want in open space, the most elusive dude on our roster. To Dancy. Dancing but not getting much. Jaquise Dancy, fantastic story. In October of 2016, was diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. 4 months of chemo and radiation at St. Jude's in Memphis. His mom was going through cancer at the same time. They battled together and were cleared and declared cancer-free 2 days apart.
It's amazing.
Short pass. Malik Stanley. Chris Brown brings him down. Dancy also had a scare this summer. He had to go back to Memphis to get a lymph node removed. Had to wait to get the results. Came back negative. And came right back to the team. Here comes pressure. from Daquan Graham. Off one foot, downfield, no. Flags on the play, though, as Adrian Hardy was working on Kobe Boyce. We're going to have a PI call.
And there's certainly contact there, as you saw
Pass
that left hand.
interference by number 38 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Just didn't see where the ball was coming and thought it was already in the air. And that's one of those plays where you have to read the wide receiver. And you really got to feel his body. If you're not going to turn around, then you've got to make sure that when he goes up, you go up. That time there, the young corner who's very aggressive, they like him. It's been a three-man competition. And those are the types of plays. We saw him earlier with a play where he thought he knocked the ball down. You know, jitters. Getting this much playing time early on. I know what it's like being out here in front of all these people and being out there on that island.
Hardy still does not have a catch, but that's a huge PI. Bulldogs trying to get on the board. The give and a quick tackle by Osai. He's been very active, was very good against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, played his best football on the stretch of the season.
Look, he was in an inside stunt. He splits both the tackle and the guard to make that play. That's just great awareness and strength. And when you get next to some of these Texas defenders, including Osai, this is a big dude, man. I mean, he's long. He certainly looks the part at 6'4", 245. A guy that Todd Orlando can use in a variety of ways. And they like the way he's developing.
8 tackles in that Sugar Bowl win against Georgia. Smith feeling the pressure, wide open receiver, and he missed him. He had C.J. Powell running free.
This is a breakdown in coverage, and Jamar misses one, and he knows it. You know, they went max protect to try to get an opportunity downfield.
I thought you were going to do one of these.
Yeah, on one of those, though, you just throw it up. He's wide open. Big third down here as this Texas defense is looking to bring some heat, you'd imagine.
And here comes the pressure, but flags on the play.
A false start by number 81 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still third down.
Getting a little antsy, and you understand why.
Yeah, C.J. Powell, some movement there. And you saw the blitz, and they were bringing Brandon
Please
Jones from the back
game clock
end.
to 6:27. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely there. Just, you can't anticipate the snap from the wide receiver position. You have to watch the football. That's what every wide receiver is taught across the country.
Zach Shackelford says it's like Star Wars facing this Orlando defense on third down. And another stoppage. A meeting of the minds. Let's get everybody involved.
The game clock should not have started. It will start on the snap.
Busted. Back to 3rd and 16. Not enough yardage there on the dump down to Tucker as B.J. Foster forces him out. And the Texas defense holds again on 3rd down.
And B.J. Foster is like a starter for this defense. They've got 3 safeties back there. We've seen him make some special plays. That time they're anticipating the action, beating an offensive lineman to the football, and forcing this 4th down.
Bailey Hell first attempt, 43 yards. Roach may have gotten a mitt on it. Another 43-yarder. It's up, and it's going to be short. So the Bulldogs 0 for 2 on field goal attempts. And still no score for Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, you just were wondering as I was watching that kick attempt, something's not right here. And if you go back and you look at it, and our camera crew's all over it, Bailey Hell here, the senior kicker, he literally just kicks the ground before he gets into this, and he didn't even have enough distance to get into that field goal. You don't normally see that at this level, and during the break, you see him on the sideline a little frustrated. The senior trying to get it going as he's already missed twice tonight, and that's not something that helps you with your confidence early in the season.
Brewer and Ingram in the backfield with Ellinger. As a junior quarterback, 15 of 18 for 127 yards and 3 touchdowns to start. To Ingram, showing patience, and not much there. What's the upside for Keontae Ingram this season? Granted, been a little slow with the knee issue coming out of camp.
I think just understanding what it means and what it takes to be the guy here at the University of Texas. There's been so many special running backs, and you have to live within that legacy. But how you do that is you work every day, take care of your body. That's important because he's going to take a beating throughout the course of the year and continue to grow.
Looking for Brewer. Ellinger has him. And that will be up to the 32-yard line. So once again, no big plays. None of the explosive 40, 50-yard type explosive plays you're accustomed to seeing in the Big 12. Texas doing a good job of moving the football.
Well, I don't really mind that. You go back and look at their drive chart. They've scored every one except the one where you had the Colin Johnson fumble, and that was a 9-play drive, and they were approaching the red zone. So this offense is moving, and frankly, Louisiana Tech hasn't been able to stop them. So as long as you keep that going, you're good.
Clean pocket for Ellinger. Johnson laying out. Does he make the grab? No, he does not. Saw him make a catch like that in the end zone against TCU.
This was close. Poorly thrown ball by Sam. I mean, he'll want this one back because if you just put a little air into this one, he almost came up with that acrobatic catch. And that's what he's known for, as this Texas team looked like maybe debating it, and Sam Ellinger certainly wanted an opportunity at going on it for 4th down there. He wanted that one back.
So a quick drive for the Texas offense. Ryan Buchevsky out to punt. C.J. Powell deep. Buchevsky had 4 punts down inside the 20-yard line. And the win against Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. High archer. Powell takes it at the 30 and calls for a fair catch. 21-0. Texas leads in the season opener against Louisiana Tech. Texas football lost a legend nearly 2 weeks ago. Cedric Benson was killed in a motorcycle accident here in Austin. Benson arrived with enormous expectations in Austin and lived up to them, rushing for 1,000 yards in his freshman season and never failing to be under 1,000 yards in his 4-year Texas career. Cedric Benson being honored by Texas football throughout the course of the season as they will wear his number 32 on the back of his helmet. Malcolm Roach wearing 32. And as Taylor Davis can tell us, that number means a lot to Malcolm Roach. Smith thrown to the right side. And then slipped out of the tackle for Isaiah Graham. Taylor.
Yeah, guys, like you said, that had a significant impact on Malcolm Roach. He told us this week wearing 32 means something way bigger than it ever has for him now. He said he wants his play to have a lot more aggression and commitment to the team, and he also wants to step up more as a leader, which I have seen here on the sideline tonight. He's been spending some time with, there we go, look at that pick.
Picked off. Joseph Osai. It was batted down and into the hands of the sophomore.
They just brought the blitz from the boundary. Jalen Green, the long sophomore cornerback, 6'1", 185. The awareness, you can't get to him, puts his hands up, makes something happen. turnovers right now and the takeaways for this Texas defense is keeping them going.
Osai with the interception, Green with the tip, and Texas with great field position. Texas takes over after the Osai interception, and for the first time, Roschon Johnson checks in at running back. These will be his first snaps as a running back since he was 9 years old, an ESPN 300 quarterback recruit. Because of the lack of depth, just 2 healthy scholarship running backs for Tom Herman. Roschon Johnson will play running back at least for the first 4 games of his true freshman season. Now, ideally, Herman did not want to see him this early in the game. Ellinger. Time. Steps back and throws out of bounds. Taylor, why are we seeing Johnson this early?
Well, guys, it is partially because earlier in this quarter, Jordan Whittington went to the medical tent and was being reviewed by the trainers. He is on the sideline. He's been running up and down, but he definitely seems to be uncomfortable. He's running pretty gingerly. He's also spent some time on the bike. I'm being told it's an ongoing groin injury that he has been dealing with. He is still considered available. I'll keep you posted when I know more.
So this must be the sports hernia acting up as Johnson gets his first carry, hops out of a tackle, and a good gain for Roschon Johnson. 7 yards for the former quarterback.
His first 2 plays at running back have been excellent. The previous play, he's in protection and does a nice job of protecting the quarterback. Here, breaking the tackle, protecting the football, and getting out of bounds. And when I look at this kid, I could see him naturally playing this position. No disrespect to him as a quarterback, but I think when you have Sam Ehlinger, if you want to get on the field, your best shot may be at the running back position.
3rd and 6. Ehlinger with a clean pocket but wants to run. Lowers the shoulder. He will be brought down shy of the first down. James Jackson with the tackle. Now going back to Whittington, it's a sports hernia issue that has plagued him since high school. It could be flaring up again. There's Ehlinger with the run and taking a hit. But this is still a concern. Now Ehlinger is down. Ehlinger is down and he's holding his forehead.
He took a pretty good shot to the head. And then his helmet came off, so you never know.
He's up and off quickly. He is up on the sideline. And at this point in time, it does not appear to be anything urgent. Dicker with the attempt, and good. So Texas turning the interception into 3 points to extend the lead to 24-0. Of greater concern right now, the injury situation in the backfield. What Sam Ehlinger is dealing with at this moment in time. He's smiling, doesn't seem to be anything major. But with Jordan Whittington also on the sideline, and Roschon Johnson in at running back. Now the running back situation is a little dicey, because at one point in practice in camp, Texas had no scholarship running backs available. Daniel Young is out with an ankle issue. Kurt Johnson has an issue around his collarbone. They look like they will be out for at least the beginning of this season. So ideally, Ingram and Whittington take the bulk of the carries. Johnson, in the words of Tom Herman, will play these first 4 weeks at running back, a bye week at number 5, and hopefully that's enough time for Young and Johnson to come back. But if Whittington is having some issues, it could mean a lot more Roschon Johnson at running back than anybody anticipated, including Roschon.
I would agree. And a major concern here if Sam isn't feeling well, because if those guys aren't there, it puts more of the rushing load on Sam Ehlinger.
And a fair catch for Louisiana Tech. They will take over at the 25. Halftime is coming up. Our guys down on the field this year. We got booted out of our normal set because the construction site. But in 2 more years, we're going to have a beautiful spot.
Indeed.
So Ricky Williams, Jordan Shipley, Michael Griffin joining Alex Loeb at the break. First half analysis and highlights. I'm going to be anticipating what Ricky has to say about Roschon Johnson, how he's looking at running back. And there's Herman checking on Sam Ehlinger. He took a knee and was holding on to his forehead. It appears he's okay. Looking for Hardy, incomplete.
No surprise, but I think Todd Orlando's done an excellent job of bringing the pressure on a veteran quarterback in Smith. They're mixing up right there. They bring a 5-man blitz, but it's the stunning that they also do with their line, their linebackers, and their secondary, and that's the reason why he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the country.
Dancy with the carry. That hole closed quickly as Malcolm Roach very active in the first half.
And that's what you like to see when you're running the football down from the opposite side. The awareness, the ability to see what's happening in the backfield, to fight through the blockers, and make them play.
And here's another look at that smaller, fast, shifty third down defense. Roach, the only defensive lineman on the field here for 3rd and 8. And movement along the line as McCulloch may have gotten Louisiana Tech to jump. Some movement on the right side of the line with Jawant Stallworth.
Offside by number 23 of the defense. He moved into the neutral zone and caused an offensive player to move. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
So McCulloch there in the neutral zone. Stallworth moved, and it's going to be yardage that's going to help the cause for the Bulldogs on 3rd down.
And Todd Orlando now has to go from that fast package and to moving some more meat in there as you see more defensive linemen come into the ball game, because now with this 3rd and short, you run the possibility of them being able to put the ball on the ground to try to convert.
Ojimo and Bimage check in. 3rd and 3. And there was pressure on Smith. He was hit as he threw. Looking for C.J. Powell.
And that's what happens. You know, as a quarterback, when you start to get uncomfortable in that pocket, that's supposed to be your safe zone. And the way that Texas has violated it with a myriad of blitzes, getting home base and getting some shots on the quarterback, any quarterback will tell you that is nerve-wracking.
Bimage with good pressure. Jake Smith looking for his first return. He wants the ball in his hands. See what the Gatorade National High School Player of the Year can do. He will call for a fair catch at the 29-yard line. Sam Ehlinger, he's living up to the hype, enormous expectations on his shoulders as he is the guy with the 5th greatest chances to win the Heisman.
He's been on fire, and I thought he's made some great decisions with the football. And then here is where he's just special. Those off-schedule plays, opening up things. Here he made a read. He knew he had the numbers on that side of the ball, just took off with it. Nicely thrown ball here to the back of the end zone for a touchdown for Johnson. Over the top here to Eagles. And this is the last shot that he took there.
But he's back.
Well, that's what you'd expect. Todd Orlando called him an honorary linebacker last week. And this kid is just physical. And he loves that part of his game.
Not a lot of quarterbacks get that honor bestowed upon them.
You're right.
Duvernay over the middle. Slips out of one tackle. Looking for the sideline out of bounds after 6 yards on the game.
And this time he takes a shot in the backfield, but still manages to get the ball to Duvernay on the crossing route. They brought their outside nickel back. Sam with the hit there.
James Jackson getting some contact in. 2nd and 5. Cade Brewer looked like he wasn't ready for that football.
He wasn't. I mean, you watch it here. I mean, if the ball doesn't hit him right in between the numbers, I'm not sure he would have caught it. He was totally surprised, Lo. I mean, watch this here. It's like, oh boy, it's there.
There's a football. Tim Beck called him the sleeper of the offense. There he may have been a little bit asleep.
Well, it's hard to navigate across that middle of the field. You're trying to look for those linebackers who might be trying to pick you off. Now you've got a 3rd and short situation. And this was an area that Texas struggled converting a season ago.
Ellinger looking and finding Brennan Eagles.
It's just great work up front. It's a 3-man rush from the defense. And Ellinger picking them apart, finding the right man, making the right decision, and connecting on the throw.
Texas starting to speed it up here. 40 seconds left before the half. Ingram in the backfield. Good move by Ellinger. Throwing on the run. Sideline and open is Colin Johnson. How did he get free? You can say that for both Johnson and Ellinger.
Watch this entire play, and these guys are really good friends. Excellent awareness here. We've seen Ellinger do this time after time. He's quick enough just to get by, but this catch, Sports Center top 10, my man was out of bounds almost. That was awesome.
Ellinger thinking about running, steps back and gets rid of it. James Jackson, though, is getting good pressure in the backfield on Ellinger. And even after that play, was able to deliver a little bit of a hit. But Sam is so well built, so sturdy.
Totally right.
Talk to him about when he realized he could be a physical player. It says it wasn't until he was at Westlake High School, coached by former Texas quarterback Todd Dodge, where they ran a lot of power down by the goal line. That's when he figured out, I can start running over dudes. 21 seconds left until the half. Pressure. Ellinger is hit. The Bulldogs cannot bring him down, and smartly getting out of bounds to save his body and to stop the clock with 14 seconds left. Trey Baldwin with the pressure.
That's a great job by the Bulldogs recovering downfield, because he just had to bite the bullet there literally as the blitz was coming and avoiding it. But to your point about him as big as he is, I mean, he's 6'3", he's 220 pounds, and I always compare his size to that of Tim Tebow. But in addition to that, when you look at the lower half of his body, he's built like a running back. You know, very thick base, and you see him break those tackles, and you wonder, how does he do that? I mean, this is a very strong kid.
Texas working with 2 timeouts. More pressure from the Bulldogs, and a big hit right in the face of Ellinger is Connor Taylor, his 2nd impact play of the night. He's got a forced fumble,
Texas,
and now he's got a sack.
Timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. 30 seconds.
He almost gave up on this play. And, you know, right now Louisiana Tech has decided to blitz and pressure Ellinger. That's been consecutive opportunities where they've had a chance to get to the quarterback. And the protection's not bad there. But if you're Sam, you've got to make a decision. And that's where, when you start to see him develop as a leader and as one of the top quarterbacks in the country, that's where you really want to see him become more aware and don't take a hit like that in the pocket.
First sack allowed by the Longhorns tonight. It will bring on Cameron Dicker. Made his first attempt from 43. The man that set a Texas record for the most points and field goals by a Texas freshman from 49 yards out. Sailing right, and it will be wide right, no good with 3 seconds left. Dicker was nails in fall camp, nearly automatic.
And you want to get him to get some of these attempts here. And it looks completely different to him with the renovations there, the south end zone. In addition to that, though, I mean, this kid, at this point, Law, I mean, I'd have to put him in probably the top 3 or 4 offensive weapons for this team. I mean, as consistent as he's been, to your point, and some of the clutch kicks he's made, including that of Oklahoma.
Hold on now.
Well, I mean, here's the point.
Are you blaming the construction zone on that miss?
Well, it's a different look. You know, and this is his first time with all the fans in here. It's a different look. That's all I'm saying.
Last snap of the first half. And Jeffrey McCulloch with the stop. And zeros on the clock. Sam Ehlinger.
That's the end of the
20 of 26 for 173 yards and 3 touchdowns. As Ehlinger led the Longhorns, fueled by Devin Duvernay on a touchdown on the opening drive. They've been able to spread it out. Duvernay, Colin Johnson, and Brennan Eagles all with touchdown catches. And we've seen the freshmen as well get into the mix offensively with Jordan Whittington and Jake Smith. So far, so good for Texas football. Pitching a shutout. Here's Taylor with Tom Herman.
Coach, before the game, you told me you wanted to see your team play relaxed. How have they done that so far?
Well, I think very good offensively until that last drive. That was really bad. Really, really bad. We have mental mistakes all over the place. Running back, quarterback, offensive line, receiver, you name it. Head coach. And the defense, I think, once we settled in, we started playing a little bit better on third down. And anytime you can go into the half, giving up 0 points, that's a pretty good first half.
Well, aside from that last drive for your offense, they were finding some rhythm, even with a limited running game. What more do you want to see in the second half?
Well, we got to do a better job. They're blitzing way more. I mean, this is a team that their defense coordinator had been, in his previous stops, 7% blitz, and we're getting almost exclusively some kind of pressure on every snap. So we've got to find a couple go-to runs that we can handle the pressure.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Taylor, thank you so much. At the half, it's Texas 24, Louisiana Tech nothing. Now for Texas game day at the half, my guys, Alex Loeb, take it away.
All righty, welcome into halftime. This is the largest halftime lead of the Tom Herman era here at Texas. The Longhorns looking good in their season opener. No repeat of the past few years, as Texas blanking Louisiana Tech 24-0 at the break here, gentlemen. Early thoughts on this one halfway through the opener?
I mean, the positive thing is, they have not allowed a score on the offense side of the ball. I think Sam is, he's on point on all cylinders. Unfortunately, he took some hits right there, but again, some of the passes that he's thrown, we was questioning whether or not, Tim Tebow or him, we're clearly seeing that he definitely has a better arm.
What I like seeing is them spreading the ball around like they are. I think really every eligible receiver has caught a ball except for maybe John Burt, which I'm sure we'll probably see in the second half. So just great to see them spreading the ball around and using those weapons that they got.
Yeah, 9 different receivers have a reception. 7 of those receivers have 2 receptions. So definitely offense is spreading the ball around. Defense coming up with big plays, those turnovers. And it's what I said in the pregame show. A defense that plays aggressive and causes turnovers makes it easy for the offense. And to build off what you said about the biggest lead in the Tom Herman era, they're kind of playing like that last drive where they're getting a little bit lackadaisical because they're not used to being up. But this is where you got to keep your foot on the gas. I mean, I don't want to say a stat game, but you got to team down. You got to learn. You got to get used to just driving them into the ground even further.
Ricky Williams, Jordan Shipley, Michael Griffin, myself, Alex Loeb here. Join you. How about Devin Duvernay moving into the slot? He's already tied a career high in catches in just one half a play. He looks awfully comfortable there.
Yeah, you saw it was a priority early in the game. I think that first drive, he had at least 4 touches. Two of the same plays in a row to get the touchdown, and on that last drive, a little drag route to where he picked up some yards. Not as many yards as we're used to seeing him have, but definitely a lot of receptions in that touchdown.
But one of the things that we wanted to see was him in there running some option routes and to show that he could kind of create space in some of those. We know he can stretch the field, and I think that's where he's going to be the most dangerous, but they've used him a lot of different ways.
Looking like a slot machine again with half a dozen grabs in one half a play. So that's the passing game. Meanwhile, how about Keontae Ingram averaging around 8 yards per carry for most of the half? Looking awfully healthy to me so far.
Oh, definitely. He's getting the hard runs. He's making a lot of people miss, and we all know the first person's never going to get him down. But, again, him with the ball in his hands, he makes things happen. He got great vision. He's hitting some big runs here and there. But, again, he's looking very well right now.
Yeah, halfway to 100 yards, 52 yards. And he's fun to watch inside of a small space. He's got really good feet, makes people miss. Again, I just want to see him hopefully break a long run and get over that 100-yard mark today.
All right, highlights on the way when we come back from halftime at DKR Stadium. So far, so good at the beginning of the third year under Tom Herman. How about the defense? They lost 8 starters from a year ago. Joseph Osai, a pick and a fumble recovery. All right, time for our first half highlights brought to you by Dell Children's. Texas ready to go for the season opener. Hope Terry Bradshaw is watching this one. Sam Ehlinger was on fire, finding Devin Duvernay early on. First touchdown of the season. On to the second quarter. This time, Ehlinger hooking up with the big man, Colin Johnson.
Yeah, Colin looked, he had the one fumble, but man, he's looked really good other than that.
That's a great adjustment and catch right there.
It wasn't done later on in the second. Everybody getting involved. Brennan Eagles had 1 catch last year. There he is. Texas goes up 21-0. I think a 24-zip lead at the break. Ehlinger on fire, 20 of 26. More on the way from the half here at DKR Stadium. Don't forget, coming up after the game, Texas Game Day final, recapping hopefully a season opening victory. Looking good so far after 1 half of play. And we may, just may, I don't want to jinx it if that holds up, preview a little LSU a week from tonight here in Austin. Coming up after the break, keys to the second half for the Horns. We'll be back.
Right, looking to the end zone, still looking, fires for the end zone. Ball is caught.
Looking over the middle. He's got a man wide open. It is Brennan Eagles.
All right, so Texas again with the largest halftime lead of the Tom Herman era. But Coach said during the half with Taylor Davis that he was disappointed with that last series or two. What do you need to see out of this team as they come out for the second half, Griff?
I think they go stay on the gas. Keep putting points on their defense, hold them. I think that on the secondary, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to be able to make turnovers. They're going to have to throw the ball to get back in this game. So they can continue to put that gas down, get pressure on the quarterback, make them make mistakes and stuff. They can get through this game very easily.
Jordan, what do you think?
I'd like to see them continue to establish the run game, but honestly, I think the main key to this second half is to get out of the game with Sam Ehlinger healthy and Keontae Ingram and Jordan Whittington, because if you lose 1 or 2 of those guys, it's a whole different ballgame next week.
Yeah, my thing is play like the score is 0-0. You know, you got a young team and a big challenge coming up next week. And game reps and practice reps are very different. So go out there and play some football.
Let's get ahead of ourselves for just a second. At what point do you consider taking Sam out of the game?
I mean, honestly, I think if you score, maybe 2 more touchdowns, I don't see any reason to keep him in there. I mean, he's got enough experience that, I think the main thing is having him next week.
I think the big thing is, they didn't look so good on that last drive, so even if it's just 1 or 2 drives, but just to get him sharp so he's coming off on a high note.
Before we start the second half action, who impressed you most on defense? A lot of new faces there.
Right now, I'm going with Green. I mean, right now he gave up 1 pass, but I mean, again, there was no yards after catch. He had a great PBU deep ball, and then he was able to get the tip where Osai was able to get the interception. So I think he's playing real well. And like I said earlier in the game, that I want to be able to see a shut-down corner and get back to DBU. Right now, he's a young guy that can be able to establish himself as that guy.
I'm going to go with Osai. As you mentioned, I think Jalen Green looked awesome. Osai got involved in a couple different turnovers, which I think is a big key for him. Following the footsteps of a guy like Derek Johnson and be around the ball.
I'm with you, Osai. I think there's a big question mark at middle linebacker. I like the way he's playing. You see they're still making young mistakes, but they're playing hard. And with more experience, it's going to be fun to keep watching them play.
How's the pass rush look to you guys so far?
I think they're getting there. They're getting there. It's a mobile quarterback, but they're able to keep him in the pocket. They're not getting any extra scramble yards by the quarterback, so they're doing a great job.
They're definitely getting pressure. Like you said, the main thing is just getting that quarterback on the ground.
24-0, I'll take it.
Texas forcing 2 turnovers, forced 20 all of last season. And again, so far, Ehlinger, 20 of 26. At one point, he was 14 of 14 from 10 yards or less. 3 touchdown passes. That'll do it here from the half. Lowell and Ahmad coming up with the second half after the break. And we'll see you on Game Day Final.
A 24-0 lead for Texas in the season opener against Louisiana Tech. The journey is playing. Don't stop believing.
Oh, yeah.
The cell phone lights are out. Beautiful sight here at DKR in Austin, Texas. Logan Lindo here back with Ahmad Brooks. So the good right now, Texas defensively pitching a shutout. Sam Ehlinger, one shy of his career high for touchdown passes in the game. Devin Duvernay has already set his career mark for catches in the game. But we're looking at that backfield with guys like Jordan Whittington, a little banged up. So there is some good, but some concerns as well.
And if you're Coach Herman and his coaching staff, you've got to manage those injuries at this point, and that becomes their most difficult job. And I think with the offense, they started off hot, and then you go back, they're 4 or 5 on third down, and then they come back, and they're 1 of 4. So they've got to figure out some way to convert on those downs, extend drives, and punch them back in the end zone.
Yeah, Tom Herman was not very happy with that final offensive drive. A lot of pressure, a lot of hits on Sam Ehlinger. Let's take a look at our cold hard facts presented by Coors Light. On the ground, Texas 83 rushing yards. Ehlinger has been in the mix, most of it. Zingram with 52. Texas defensively has done a fine job shutting down the Bulldogs rushing attack with only a 26 mark to show for. So Louisiana Tech will start off with the football. Jamar Smith had a hot start. 6 for 8, but slowed. 7 of 13 since then. Dancy joins him in the backfield. Graham trying to get off the edge. And he finds C.J. Powell for the first down on the first toss.
Texas is running a lot of combination coverage in the back end there. That means their nickel back, their safety, and a corner are all playing. It's 3-on-2. And right now, Jamar Smith is finding that matchup, and he knows that he can go outside where there's a late reaction from this Texas defense.
Over the middle, big collision, Caden Stearns. The Wolf starts to howl.
Great job of reading the quarterback's eyes, and when you're that free safety, or even when you're that underneath safety, that's what you're doing. Your job is to not just cover grass, but to cover people. And that time, Caden Stearns finding work and making a play on the check down.
Adrian Hardy, no catches so far tonight. That's a little screen pass there to Malik Stanley, who's been solid in his debut for Louisiana Tech. Hardy has drawn 1 pass interference, for a guy that had 1,145 yards a season ago, has been a non-factor. Laser pass, right side. Isaiah Graham, the former TCU Horned Frog, converts for the first down. Working on Jalen Green. Graham played 2 seasons for TCU. 8 catches, 84 yards. Did not see him against Texas. Sat out last season in his transfer year, going from Fort Worth to Ruston. And a good drive here for the Bulldogs. Like Todd Fitch told us, the OC for Louisiana Tech, when Smith is comfortable and has time, he's really good. Case in point, that strike to Powell.
It appears as though the game plan now is just to let this kid throw the football. He's making good decisions, and they're really picking Texas apart right now on the outside edges, whether that be with the bubble screen inside or short out routes. Texas has to do a good job of protecting that boundary by tackling well on the outside.
And nothing's working for them on the ground. So why not go through the air?
Yeah, you thin those numbers out when you go 3 and 4 wideouts, and they're taking advantage of it.
2nd and 4 for Jamar Smith, the senior. He's going to loft this one up, looking for Hardy. Good defense from Jalen Green. And Green with some talk to the former Oklahoma Sooner, Adrian Hardy. Hardy, second team CUSA, despite the fact he led the conference with 1,145 yards. Smoke Harris in the backfield with Smith. In motion, Smith will keep it, and this will be close, but marked a little more than a yard shy on the first down. 4th and short. What will Todd Fish and Skip Holtz call for here? Bringing in some more beef as Bobby Hawley checks in, number 41. They don't use the fullback a lot, but Skip Holtz says that Hawley is one of the 4 best players on this Louisiana Tech team. They need a yard. And a timeout.
Texas calls their first timeout of the half. Media timeout.
4th and 1 upcoming for Skip Holtz at Louisiana Tech. We'll take a break. A no-brainer for Skip Holtz and Louisiana Tech here. 4th and 1. 3rd time that the Bulldogs have gotten inside the 30. Previous 2 times, missed field goals. So the Bulldogs bringing in the heavies.
You get a chance to test, if you're Texas, your defensive line under adversity in a critical situation. You've got some young guys with little experience up front. Can they build a wall here and prevent the Bulldogs from converting?
From 3 in the backfield to an empty backfield for Jamar Smith. Smith will roll right side, got an open man. Chris Brown makes the contact, but Bobby Hawley had it right at the sticks and incomplete. No, they will call this one complete for Hawley. This one is likely going to go down to a review.
The ruling on the field is the first down.
Yeah, I think this needs a review. It appeared as though he didn't have full control as he was trying to stretch the football out there.
The ruling on the first down is under further review.
Indeed. Well, let's give credit here.
Let's talk
about Chris Brown. I mean, when you start looking at his size, he's one of the smaller defensive backs at 5'11", 195. He's been involved in the action. And as I said earlier in the day, they just cannot keep this kid from playing. And Todd Orlando loves guys that make plays. That was an excellent job of closing down the space, knowing exactly where the first down marker was. But last but not least, pushing the ball carrier back and making something happen. This is a play that if you make these types of plays regularly, you're going to see 15 as a fixture on this defense throughout the season.
So Hawley initially hauled it in, and then he tries to extend because where he catches the ball, he's behind the yard to gain. As he extends, the ball pops out. And again, rule to catch on the field. Will there be enough to overturn?
And from looking at it that angle, he might have had possession. This is going to be a tough call to make.
Your point about Chris Brown, though, is on point. Because you talk to Malcolm Roach, he'll tell you that Chris Brown is one of the best players on this defense.
He showed it tonight.
But here's the problem. The guys in the secondary that don't play corner, what do you do when you have Caden Stearns, Brandon Jones, B.J. Foster, Josh Thompson, and DeMarvion Overshown?
It's a good problem to have in the Big 12. When you have all these high-flying offenses that like to throw the ball all over the yard, and Texas has some young, bright stars back there, but you've got guys like Chris Brown, who's also making sure that he does a good job of earning some playing time. You know, my one question about this review is, did he maintain possession? And you know that's exactly what the official is looking at here. And he spent some time over there. This is one of those calls because it's a 4th down and totally changes the momentum of this ball game.
Did he maintain possession? And if he did he have enough for
to
the
get
first
the first
down?
Indeed.
After further review, the ball did not get to the line to gain. It's Texas ball, first down.
So it is a catch, but does not get the appropriate yardage.
Well, I'm going to say it right now. This is one of the plays of the game for me. I mean, I don't know what will happen later, but the fact that the attacking style of defense and man-to-man, not to mention, I personally thought that they were about to run the football. They came out, they shifted. I think it was a good call on the Bulldogs' part, but it did catch this Texas defense off guard because Chris Brown made a phenomenal play on the ball.
So 3 drives inside the 30 for Louisiana Tech. Nothing to show for it as the shutout is still alive. We will see if Louisiana Tech brings more pressure like they did in the final drives of the first half. Quick pass to Duvernay, catch number 7. Shoves off the defender for extra yards. Now it brings up the interesting point. We heard that number about 6% with Bob Diaco. The amount of times in their scouting, his defense brought pressure. Keep in mind, though, this is the 3rd time that Bob Diaco has seen Texas since the start of last year. As Ellinger drops back, steps up, Duvernay overthrown. Diaco started last season as an analyst for Oklahoma. That's the role he was in for the Red River rivalry. But then Mike Stoops gets fired, so Diaco gets promoted to linebacker coach. He was in that role for the Big 12 championship game. So this is the 3rd time that Diaco has seen this Texas offense. And a fine defensive coordinator, former Broyles Award winner for his job at Notre Dame as the top assistant coach in college football. 3rd and 5 for Ellinger. Colin Johnson, first down catch. Bodying up Amik Robertson. That's the size discrepancy at work.
Indeed, but what you also are going to see is him develop as a route runner. Oftentimes for a guy with his stature and size, it's hard to get in and out of breaks and cuts. Nice clean footwork here, coming back to the football, converting.
Interesting matchup. Willie Baker is now at the bottom of your screen with Jake Smith in the slot. Baker has been quiet. Can he keep up with Smith? Smith is open over the field. And a good play with the closing job by Amik Robertson. But for a moment, Smith was open.
Now listen, I'm always in favor of the defensive backs here, but there was some contact prior to this ball getting in his catchable space. That's a brilliant job there from Robertson to cut across the middle there. But you see that contact right there. And if you're Jake Smith, you've got to use your larger frame to body him up there and to make that catch. But there was some contact downfield.
A lot of buzz that Robertson will get some next-level looks. Ingram dancing, stiff arm, staying alive. But a challenge for him to get back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd down. We saw Robertson also with that physical play against Malcolm Epps. So even though he was outsized, still found a way to make plays. This is a secondary with a little bit of swag.
I like what I see out of him. I mean, he's very aggressive. He's an aware corner. Though undersized, I think he still makes plays on the ball.
3rd and 10. Bulldogs defense trying to turn it around. Longhorns 6 for 10 on 3rd down. 3-man rush. Ellinger will run up the middle. Contact sliding his way. And it's going to come down to the spot. They do mark him about a yard shy of the 1st down.
And they're going for it. Tom's already on the sideline, sending out the boys. And here you may see them snap the ball quickly, but Ellinger making a great decision as they only rushed 4 and had everything covered up downfield.
4th and 1. 2 bodies with him in the backfield. To Duvernay. And Duvernay has 1st down yardage.
And that's new now. And you wonder if Duvernay's in that spot that maybe Jordan Whittington would have been in.
Whittington's checking in.
Okay, so that's a good positive sign as the freshman early on in the game was out. We saw him make a cut on his last catch towards the red zone where he utilized his quick speed to get outside, and that's going to be the challenge for him, having a nagging throwing injury.
Brewer in the backfield with Whittington. Jordan Whittington, the true freshman, still has not registered a carry. Ellinger to a wide open Devin Duvernay. A career performance, keeps getting better.
I love the route combination here. They went to it earlier in the game and scored a touchdown. This time finds Duvernay on the corner route. And when you go back and look a season ago, Duvernay did not have one drop. And you see him tonight, he's been targeted, and every time he's been targeted, he's managed to haul the pass in.
8 catches, a career high for 54 yards. Play action. And there it is, on the money to Eagles. 25 yards, and Brennan Eagles to the end zone for the second time tonight.
Beautifully thrown ball by the junior, Sam Ellinger. Look at the zip on that thing, put it right in the location it needed to be. And an acrobatic catch from Eagles. And they're going to need Eagles this year to make plays opposite of Colin Johnson to open up things for the senior wide receiver on the other side.
And with that touchdown toss to Brennan Eagle, you have Sam Ellinger tied his career high with 4 touchdown passes. Good to have big targets with soft hands like Brennan Eagles.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Airgas. Gases, welding, safety products, and nitrogen fog provider every time the Longhorns take the field since 1998.
Another 10-play touchdown drive for the Longhorns, their second of the night. 74 yards, capped by Brennan Eagles. And a host of Texas defenders there on special teams as Louisiana Tech will start inside the 20. How did Brennan Eagles get so open?
Well, it's a breakdown in coverage. These two guys are playing a 2 concept with me. He's hugging here for the flat route. He's supposed to get over the top, but the route combo forces him to be in a poor spot. As you see these two, the pressure that they put with Eagles running the go route and then the inside post route, he's put in no man's land. He's covering grass, and Eagles is wide open. Now, what you'd like to see is that cornerback hug the wide receiver a little bit more and carry with that route. Poor job in the back end, which led to Sam Ellinger throwing a ball on the dart for another Texas touchdown.
We may be seeing the benefit of the recent change to the redshirt rule. Eagles was able to get playing time last season, but did not play in more than 4 games, so was able to keep his red shirt. Remember,
a delay of game by number 8 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
He actually got credit for a start in the season opener because Colin Johnson did not have his knee pads in and had to go to the sideline.
Yeah.
And Eagles was the man they threw in.
Well, he's maturing, and you can tell he's understanding route combinations, knowing how to create space and get open for his quarterback.
Good room to run for Jaquise Dancy. Gets all the yardage back, lost to the penalty and more, 16 yards before Brandon Jones can bring him down.
Yeah, they only had 29 rushing yards up until that point. The longest run of the night here for the Bulldogs. Just a good job of getting out in space.
Quick pass to Hebert. Jalen Green fighting through a block to make the stop.
It's an excellent job there by Green. He's a physical corner, forces his blocker right into the wide receiver, then makes the tackle. You can't play it any better than that from the cornerback spot.
This is a Texas defense that was really shaken up due to graduation in the draft. Losing Charles Amenahoop, losing Chris Nelson, Brecken Hager, Gary Johnson, Anthony Wheeler, and your starting cornerbacks in Devontae Davis and Chris Boyd. Yet they have not missed a beat. A lot of pressure here. Jailbreak to Isaiah Graham, his second big catch of the night. And it's a first down. Now, when it comes to the inexperience as a whole, 8 returning starters overall, offensively and defensively. The fewest, according to Phil Steele, in all of college football. Defensively, specifically, this is what they lost. But Todd Orlando honestly didn't think that the losses were quite as big of a deal as people are making them, because there is inexperience, but it's some of the most talented inexperience that this defense has had in quite a while. Dancy motions out, and there is the go-to receiver with his first catch of the night, and Adrian Hardy.
Jamar has been a different quarterback the second half. He's making quick decisions, and he's picking Texas apart on the outside edges, and with his quick passing game, very decisive with the football.
They just have not been able to finish off the hands of Smoke Harris. 2 early missed field goals, and that 4th down stop. Fantastic play by Chris Brown. So Coburn checks back in with Malcolm Roach and Daquan Graham on the defensive line. Those are your starters there. At linebacker, McCulloch and Osai, the 2 best-known commodities of the linebacking core. Smith. That's another tackle by Caden Stearns, as Smoke Harris was trying to get away but could not.
That's a hard tackle to make in open space, and you're by yourself out there, and they bring the pressure from the secondary, and Caden Stearns is left on an island. Does a good job of reading the play and forcing this 3rd down, and now you wonder if this Texas defense with some fresh defensive linemen in the ball game can get to the quarterback and provide some pressure, because right now Jamar is throwing very comfortably back in the pocket.
Here comes the house. It's left short as he was looking for Graham on the slant. So 4th and 5. What do you do here when you're down 31-0? Go for the long 4th down. You punt it away.
Anytime in between the 40s, that's one of those situations where it could be a 4 down, and it appears as though Skip Holtz has decided that he's going to allow his offense to stay out there on the field. And now if you're Texas, you got to make another stop. They just brought a 5-man pressure. Orlando's been doing a good job all night tonight of mixing up the blitzes against this veteran quarterback.
2 takeaways and already 1 stop on 4th down for this Texas defense. Roach coming up the middle. Caden Stearns in coverage as that was overthrown, looking for Smoke Harris. Texas holds on 4th down for the 2nd straight drive, and it's 31-0. Texas in the 2019 season opener.
Media timeout.
Let's take a look at our Big 12 scoreboard, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. Last night, Oklahoma State, the debut of Spencer Sanders, leads them to a win against the Beavers, 52-36. Chuba Hubbard over 200 yards, could be the top running back of the Big 12. Iowa State took 3 overtimes and almost fumbled it away against Northern Iowa. And TCU up on Arkansas Pine Bluff, 19-0. Looking forward to that OU-Houston matchup coming up tomorrow night with Dana Holgerson making his U of H debut. So it's 31-0, 6 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. Jake Smith in motion. It's a swing pass to him for about 5 yards. Are you surprised Ellinger is in at quarterback?
Not at all. Number 1, he's a competitor. Number 2, got a big game next week. And the offense, frankly, you want him to go out on a good note. I mean, I think it's safe to play him at least through the 3rd quarter. And then if you still have a pretty good lead, maybe you throw him in the ball game. But 31 points at this point is not a tremendous lead.
Second time we've seen that direct snap. Great vision and wiggle for Keontae Ingram. Given the 1st down, what can Keontae do for you?
When you see wiggle here, I see power. I see a little more. And this is the same play they ran earlier where Sam walks off and it's just a direct snap. But that pound, the weight that he added, the armor as Tom Herman called it, I believe that's what allowed him to break through that 2nd tackle with power.
And straight up muscle, 12 yards for Ingram. Back to Ingram, no one's home. Ingram slips through 1 tackle, trying to take on 3 Bulldogs by himself. That's what the muscle will do. 20 yards for the sophomore from Carthage.
Watch him stick his foot in the ground here and get out there. Jeez, I mean, this is a very powerful cut. Sets up the defender. Nice job of getting off that left foot, planting it in the ground, and making a miss.
Ellinger all day looking for Smith. Picked off. Incomplete. It looked like Amik Robertson was going to bring down the INT as Ellinger was looking for the freshman Jake Smith.
That's a big-time play. I mean, you know, listen, the coverage was outstanding. He's in the perfect position, and he almost pulled off an incredible interception, going up over a guy that's taller than him. And this is where, when you watch him on film, he's such a competitor. And to play on that island, man, you really do have to think differently. You've got to believe you're Superman. And right now, and in that particular play, he certainly looked like it.
And we've seen him check Colin Johnson, Jake Smith, and now at the bottom of your screen against Malcolm Epps, Reese Lato at tight end. Back to Ingram. He's going to bounce it out. Ellinger, lead blocker, gives him one. And Ingram takes it to the 11-yard line. Hey, Ellinger ain't going to change his ways. He's going to find contact if it helps his team.
Here's what I like, and I said this during the spring game, that I thought that it might be a bad idea for him to be this physical. But after listening to all the players and the way he juices people up when he does stuff like that, you know, you can't take that part of his game. Your toughest player is your quarterback. I mean, how often does that happen? And right now, Keontae Ingram is starting to really pick up some steam. He's looking good.
Ellinger checking with the sideline, communicating with Lato. Looking for Smith, overthrown. L'Jarius Sneed in coverage. They moved him to safety in the offseason. He was part of that outstanding cornerback tandem with Robertson a season ago.
And he said earlier this week he really didn't respect the Texas wide receivers for the reason that they couldn't get off of the jam. And you know, if you're a Texas wideout in that room, you know, you're offended by that. But I think when you go back and you look at the numbers and you look at how tall these guys are, if I'm a smaller guy, you can get underneath their pads. That's something that they'll continue to work on and will need to improve with LSU coming into town next week.
And a flag on the play. Meanwhile, you've been checking up on LSU, and it's quite the whooping against Georgia Southern.
Start by number 73 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still second down.
So it's a false start on the grad transfer Parker Braun, 2-time first-team All-ACC selection at Georgia Tech. That was in the Paul Johnson offense, a lot of cup blocks. So a little bit, actually, a significantly different style making that transition to Herb Hand's offensive line.
If anybody can do it, Coach Hand can.
Got the start tonight. Kerstetter started at right tackle. Okafor has taken that spot. Cosme with the great block for Ingram. He's going to do the rest and take it within a couple of feet of the end zone.
This was just a beautiful play all around. With your offensive lineman, both Jake getting out in front, and then you have Cosme for the second time tonight. You just see how athletic this guy is. Also with Epps doing an excellent job.
Quick pass. Duvernay stretching and just shy.
And Texas really likes to get into their quick offense when you get a defense on their heels like that, and it surprises them. You have to get your adjustments, your play call quick, puts the pressure on the defensive coordinator, and especially in the red zone when you got a player like Sam Ellinger, who in my opinion was the best red zone weapon in the entire country a season ago. All of his touchdowns coming in the red zone.
Cosme moves to the right side, flanking Denzel Okafor. And they will run that way. Ingram keeps his feet and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Keontae Ingram.
Yeah, the Bulldogs defenders are saying he didn't get in, but let's see from this angle if that ball crosses the plane. And it appears to be a touchdown from that angle. Deontay Ingram. What a drive he was able to put together here. Tremendous weapon. Showed endurance, showed some power, showed good cuts, showed patience, vision. You know, it'll be interesting to see how this guy continues to develop because he's the guy in that room. I thought last year they had a safety net with the veteran Trey Watson, who towards the latter part of the year really turned it on when Ingram was banged up.
Over 100 total yards now for Keontae Ingram, 78 on the ground, and you can give him 43 off 3 catches as well. 38 zip. Texas feeling good on opening night in Austin. Malcolm Roach is always a good interview. Talk to him and he gives you some good comparisons. He says Keontae Ingram reminds him a little bit of Deontay Foreman. The way he breaks tackles, just a lot faster.
Well, and Deontay Foreman had a lot more weight and power behind him. But to that point, right? If you can have those, and he also would take to the distance now too. We saw him break a couple big runs.
Oh yeah.
But I like what I'm seeing out of him, and he really got himself going there in that last drive.
Deontay Foreman, former Doak Walker Award winner. One of the great rushing seasons, his final year here on the 40 acres. So really, this is what you were looking for if you're Tom Herman and Tim Beck. Just 1 turnover on the night. Ellinger has matched a career high with 4 touchdowns, 29 of 39. Great production from Ingram on the ground, and you're getting all the receivers in the mix. And it is an intimidating group of receivers for Texas. They were all big dudes with the exception of Devin Duvernay. Even a guy like Jake Smith, he's not the tallest guy, but he's so well built. No one here on the in around Smoke Harris. First down yardage as Smoke slips away. Given name is Davon. Showed up on campus, asked him, "What's your name?" He says, "Smoke." Said, "Okay, is that what you want to go by? Because it's going to be in the media guide and the roster." And he says, "Yeah."
Short chop and stride, but he ate up some turf there.
It's a very young Louisiana Tech team. And Justin Henderson brought down by Jeffrey McCulloch, 7 yards on the game. Skip Holt said that there were some guys, they honestly had no idea how they would react to the bright lights of Austin. Just because of that experience. They have guys that are starting that have very minimal experience, and the backups, he says, have no experience at all. 5 straight seasons with bowl wins for this Bulldogs program. The big hurdle is the Conference USA Championship. Trying to get that, they've been awfully close. It's going to be some tough competition, especially in the West, when it's Mason Fine and North Texas. Probably going to be battling for that division crown. 3rd and 3 for Skip Holtz in Louisiana Tech. Empty backfield for Jamar Smith, the senior from Meridian, Mississippi. Right side, wide open receiver and a first down to C.J. Powell as B.J. Foster halts his progress. Not before Powell can get 18 yards.
There was some confusion in the back end for the Texas linebackers and secondary. They went with that empty look, and it put McCulloch actually in coverage, and that backside was wide open. Those are the types of plays where you've got to clean up, because next week, those could turn into 6 points.
Next week, of course, with LSU coming to town. Pressure on Smith. Finds Adrian Hardy. Good move, and it's a first down. Adrian Hardy, the junior from Houston, Decaney, originally signed with Oklahoma, transferred to Louisiana Tech. Skip Holt said he knew he had something special athletically when Hardy walked through the door. First red zone possession for Louisiana Tech. They've been inside the 30 3 times, but have not been able to convert into a score. And it's time to put the four fingers up.
It's the end of the third quarter.
Longhorns taking the shutout into the fourth quarter. Texas ranked in the top 10 to start the season for the first time since 2010. It's a throwback, vintage, dominant Texas performance after 3. A 38-0 lead for Texas in the 2019 season opener in the first ever matchup against Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs mounting a drive, getting inside the red zone for the first time in this game. Just actually feet shy of that 20-yard line. To Dancy. Trying to get the corner, and he does. Thompson in pursuit. Brandon Jones as well. And Jaquise Dancy working it deep into the red zone. And down to the 7.
Yeah, and 2 DBs back here just collided. Josh Thompson and Jalen Green, which prevented them from being able to keep contained. And Thompson took a poor angle. He's got to go over the top of that to make sure he can force that back inside as he comes off the field limping after that collision.
Is this about pride here? Red zone with a shutout on the line?
Oh, yeah, it is. You got to bowl your back here.
Looking for Hardy. It's tipped up and won't find anybody. Anthony Cook was there in coverage.
Looked like Estelle got his hand on this end of this ball right here as he tips it up. Nearly pulled off the one interception. That's called the tip drill. DBs will be upset. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Someone's got to find that ball and prevent them from scoring, as you talk about taking that pride. As they bring Caden Stearns back in the ball game, you want to bring back one of your top safeties.
Foster and Juwan Mitchell off. Orlando playing a lot of bodies for this Texas defense. Hardy's at the top of your screen. Smith will roll right. Chris Brown in pursuit.
Yeah, who else? I mean, he's doing a fine job inside. And that's what you want. You don't want to even give him the ability to turn around. Keep everything in front of you and make the tackle. Keep third down here.
3rd and goal for Louisiana Tech. Right at the 5-yard line. A little fade. It's lopped it up and into the hands of Malik Stanley. He's got his first touchdown as a Bulldog, and Louisiana Tech has his first touchdown of 2019.
That was the best throw of the night for Jamar. I mean, he throws this going back and just put it in the perfect location. Only where the wide receiver could grab it. It's not bad coverage there from Brandon Jones. Typically at that goal line, you want to try to transition underneath the wide receiver and allow that back line to be your defender and force the quarterback to throw inside. But that was a good route and an even better throw from Jamar.
Malik Stanley, grad transfer from South Alabama, getting Louisiana Tech on the board. 38-7 Longhorns with 13:31 left to play.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is brought to you by Coors Light. For the world's most refreshing beer, 21 means 21.
Sam Ehlinger wrapping up the start to his Heisman campaign. A dynamic and efficient night. Ehlinger, 28 of 38 of turnover-free football, 276 through the air with 4 touchdowns. You can give him 34 yards on the ground as well. Casey Thompson is set to take over at quarterback and make his Texas debut. Louisiana Tech with the touchdown. from Jamar Smith to Malik Stanley, getting on the board to make it 38-7. And Deshaun Jamison back to return this kick. It's going to go to the up man instead. And Texas will take over and turn it over to Casey Thompson, the redshirt freshman from Newcastle, Oklahoma, an OU legacy. His father, Charles, was a quarterback at OU. His brother, Kendall, a receiver for the Sooners. But Thompson, choosing the burnt orange, waited, redshirted a season ago. And here he is, a little bit of a gunslinger, a wild man at quarterback. And Roschon Johnson is running back. So the number 2 and 3 quarterbacks on the depth chart on the field at the same time, with Johnson at running back. Here's a carry for Roschon. Breaks some tackles. That's a good burst up the middle.
I'm telling you, his skill set fits perfectly here. And I think, especially with the depth right now, I think you've got to keep Johnson at the tailback position. And I thought it was really neat that he went to the coaches and wanted to do this. I think it says a lot about him believing in his skill set, right? But also on top of that, showing his unselfishness.
You also have big Jared Wiley, a high school quarterback himself, has checked in at tight end. A freshman from Temple. Marcus Washington, a freshman receiver from St. Louis, is also in the game. Hit immediately and brought down. That is Willie Baker.
Yeah, they
getting into the backfield for the first time.
Yeah, they know the run's coming, right? I mean, you can tell Texas is trying to milk the clock. They're waiting until the play clock runs down, and they're just teeing off on them. It'll be a good opportunity on third down, though, for Casey Thompson to operate on third down.
Willie Baker not having the success he did with that 4-sack performance in the Hawaii Bowl. But sky is the limit for him. He's really taking on that void that was left with Jalen Ferguson, being selected in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. 3rd and 8, Thompson back to pass. 4 men on him. Thompson heaving it deep. No one is there. And it was nearly picked off by B.J. Williamson. So a 3 and out for young Casey Thompson in his debut as the Texas quarterback. But this is the first time under Tom Herman that Texas has been able to turn to a backup quarterback late in a game. We've seen Ellinger and Buechele both play in the same game, but that has been because of either injury or ineffectiveness. So this is the first time for Herman. They played a lot of close games here at Texas through 2 seasons that they've been able to turn it over to a quarterback to get some reps.
Number 15 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 4th down.
So let's be honest here. You're up 38-7 after that 3 and out and that false start. There will be some discussion on the sideline.
No, I mean, I think at this point you try to let Thompson grow up. You never know when you're going to need him in the ball game, and the backup quarterback position is one that's key. And Texas had the luxury last year of throwing Shane Buechele out there. We saw it in the Baylor game, how clutch he came through, and they're going to need Thompson to develop and grow.
Michael Sam taking it at the 30, and wrapped up and brought down by Joseph Osai. 38-7, Texas leads. Oh, it's going to be a hot ticket on a hot night next week. The boys from the Bayou making the trip to take on Texas. 2 programs that both started playing ball in 1893. Longhorns with the edge in all-time wins and national championships. Heisman Trophy winners. There's been a lot of consensus All-Americans with Glenn Dorsey on the left, and the Heisman's Billy Cannon. The lone Heisman winner for LSU, Ricky and Earl for Texas. And because of the proximity, tickets are going for astronomical prices on the secondary market. And LSU travels well. A night game, that's where the LSU fans are at their best. Here's Smith over the middle, big thud, but Powell stays on his feet. That's Smoke Harris, actually. The little guy tough to bring down. So Joe Burrow, transfer from Ohio State. This will be his second year leading the LSU offense. A lot of talk that they will let him open it up a little bit more. LSU with 8 starters coming back on both sides of the ball. Defense is stacked once again. And it is going to be a matchup of DBU versus another faction that likes to refer to themselves as DBU.
Yeah, and you're right. And when you look at LSU, you know, they lose one of their top corners, and now you return a freshman that you got starting out there in Derek Stingley Jr. What is he going to do against some of these wide receivers? It'll be a great challenge. And I think on the opposite side, too, you know, you're going to see these Texas DBs be in an environment where, you know, they're going to be going up against some top-notch wide receivers for LSU, and I think that's where the battle's going to be won. Today, Joe Burrow had a great game through the air. Was very efficient and effective.
And College Game Day has been confirmed to make the trip here for that showdown.
And that's going to be exciting.
with another catch. First matchup between these two teams since the Cotton Bowl, when Roy Williams absolutely went off.
He did. And I'll never forget that play, though, where I think Brady James for them actually tracked him down on a play where I thought Roy was going to score. First time I got a chance to see just how fast Brady James was.
Dancy with the carry. 3 Texas defenders there, led by Moro Ojimo. Ojimo will get a lot of run, especially with questions just on how long Coburn can go in games. He's playing more outside, but they moved him inside. The backup knows he's got long arms, but he's not super tall. So Todd Orlando really likes that combination against centers as opposed to being outside against offensive tackles. 2nd and 9 for Smith. Good pressure. He slips out of it. And Smith will take off running for the sideline as Jacoby Jones nearly brought him down. Jones already with an impact play tonight with a forced fumble that was recovered by Brandon Jones.
Great job of freshman here. Just beats him inside. Nice job of using his hands. Jamar with that stiff arm at the end is what really prevented him from getting the sack there. It's another 3rd down here, and some young Texas defenders out on the football field looking to make a stop.
I've been impressed with Jamar Smith tonight. 31 of 44, 304 through the air. There's 1 interception. Smith trying to weave that through 2 Texas defenders and cannot. Smith, though, has also passed Terry Bradshaw again for 300-yard games. 8 now in his career.
He's been a different player coming out after half, and I thought what really got his game started was the short passing game. He's doing a better job of recognizing what Todd Orlando's defense is doing to him, and every quarterback that faces this defense normally compliments him after the game and just talking about how well this defense gives you different looks and forces you to think before the snap and after the snap.
Bulldogs 0 for 2 on 4th down. This will be their first conversion inside the 30 for Adrian Hardy. Hardy has definitely started to heat up in the second half. One of the top receivers of the group of 5, 13 yards here on 4th.
Great recognition. Once again, we've got a 3-man rush. They're dropping numbers back, and he does a good job of checking right down on the crosser. Hardy doing a nice job of catching and running.
Smith, good timing, but even better timing by Caden Stearns, who gives him a little look.
And this is what gets you really excited about Caden Stearns, the timing there. He's a playmaker. We saw that a season ago. And this young sophomore had played like a veteran early on this time here at Texas. They're looking for him to really take the next step and to be not just a good player, but to be a leader of this defense. And when your team needs you, like they did there, make your play. Caden Stearns, though, is going to be one of those names when you start talking about DBU. He'll be a name that you throw in there in the very near future.
Anthony Cook and Deshaun Jamison, the cornerbacks, on 2nd and 10. Smith, quick screen. You got Smoke Harris. Keandre Coburn is there. Intriguing mix of size and athleticism. And with the hype he's getting, could we be talking about a guy that goes up there with a Sean Rogers, Casey Hampton?
Easy. I played with both of those guys now, and they lived in the opponent's backfield. But to your point, I think he's got the desire to be great. Now it's about conditioning, taking care of your body, working on what you do in the film room, and being reliable. But that play right there where he's running people down on a string, that's certainly a play that Sean and Casey made regularly.
It's a Malcolm Brown play. Smith behind his intended receiver, Isaiah Graham. Malcolm Roach will check out. Taquan Graham will check back in. Do you see an elite pass rusher on this Texas defense?
So I'm not sure if you got a chance to see one tonight, but I can tell you this, I think the talent's there for them to be able to find one. And Roach, he's made a play or 92, Kobe Jones. We know that Graham in high school, that's what he was specifically known for, though he's put on some bulk. But now's a great time to show it if you are.
4th and long for Jamar Smith. Brandon Jones into the backfield, and it's picked off. Joseph Osai, sideline. Wave goodbye. Osai cradling it all the way into the end zone.
Flag down here, like Brandon Jones.
Flag on a play. And Caden Stearns is getting up a little limpy. He is lame walking to the sideline.
That's both of your safeties, both Jones and Caden. I believe both of them came on the blitz there and just tripped each other up, and then one of them fell into J-Ball.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. A low hit to the quarterback. 15 yards, first down.
So that will wrap out the 82-yard interception return by Joseph Osai.
And that's Brandon Jones. This is a tough call to make. I mean, it doesn't appear as though it's a malicious hit, though. You got to protect those quarterbacks. And the fans here not happy about it after seeing the replay.
And it's first down.
It didn't look like it was malicious.
Indeed.
But still low contact on Jamar Smith. Oh man, Osai. That was his moment.
The foul is against player number 19.
Osai's like, what? I don't get the touchdown? I ran all that way for nothing? Hey, but Osai showed some really good hands on that pick.
I just you look at him. I mean, he's 6'4", 245, and he's sophomore, and he's a big boy. And you know, if he continues to come downhill, and if he can show these types of ball skills, you're right. I mean, he caught that with his hands. And the way he's cradling that ball there, he's like, I'm not giving it up.
Looked a little bit like Anthony Wheeler, some of his touchdown rumbles. So it's a first down for Louisiana Tech at the 12-yard line. Tipped by Tavondre Sweat. Sweat has gotten a lot of run for a true freshman that was really under the radar. One of the lower-ranked defensive players in this true freshman class.
Sometimes that gives you motivation, you know, to come out here and to prove people wrong when you've got all these 4 and 5 stars running around, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna just sit back and do my job. And that time they're showing great awareness to put his hands up.
Smith with plenty of time going for Hebert, and Hebert, does he bring it down? Yes, he does. Contested catch hauled in by Griffin Hebert.
You'd like to see the DB turn around here, but you've got to give credit where credit is due. Excellent job there. It appears as though the crowd here booing thought it might have been a push here, but this is something where you have to stand strong if you're a still and know that that ball's coming. And if he gets his head around sooner, he's able to make a play on that ball. But he turned it around too late, but great timing there to haul in the ball by Hebert.
First career touchdown for the sophomore from Lafayette. Griffin Hebert, one of the stars of fall camp. The big slot comes up with a huge catch in the end zone. And Louisiana Tech now with 14 on the board. They're also looking for something positive to wrap this up with. A 12-play, 70-yard scoring drive for Louisiana Tech. Cap with a grab from Griffin Hebert in the end zone. And it was a drive that looked like it was going to be a rumble pick six for Joseph Osai. But roughing the passer called on Brandon Jones. First down, 15 yards for Louisiana Tech, and they're able to take advantage of it. Their second scoring drive of this fourth quarter. Jake Smith and Deshaun Jamison back deep for Texas. Jamison will have a chance. Short kick. And Jamison to about the 30-yard line. Connor Taylor fighting him out of bounds. So another drive here for Casey Thompson. You saw the first one. Did it go like he wanted it to? What's the next step here?
Well, I'd like to see him carry the football. And I think right now, Louisiana Tech knows that Texas is going to try to milk the clock. The next evolution of that, right, is for him to get in that read zone read, RPO package, whatever it may be, and to carry the football. He's a good athlete, and I think getting a couple of rushes under his belt would certainly help him.
Roschon Johnson also back in at running back. 3 carries for 6 yards for the converted quarterback. There is Johnson, and it's a really nice initial burst once again for 6 yards before Darrell Lewis brings him down. A lot of options going forward with Roschon Johnson. Whether they keep him at running back for the remainder of the season or just until Kirk Johnson and Daniel Young return.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. He looks very natural back there.
He does.
And that being said, you saw him in his first play. He picks up pass protection. You know, was able to pick up a linebacker on time. And then he's looked good when they have given him touches.
Quick pass. Jordan Pouncey lowering the shoulder to the 50. And Jordan Pouncey with his first career catch. So Tom Herman has called Roschon Johnson an ultimate team player because it was Johnson that dialed up Tom Herman and said, hey, I heard your press conference on Monday about us needing some help at running back. I'll stay there. I'll play there as much as you need me to. I thought about moving Jake Smith there, but felt like they needed him and it would be better for his development to stay in the slot. As Sam Ehlinger pointed out yesterday, the running back, especially when it's a converted quarterback, he's going to know the entire offense because when you play quarterback, you better know.
By number 83 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
You better know what the running back is doing on every play.
You're right. And even there, you know, once again, as they were going into pass protection, he's doing a nice job of going to the appropriate spot. And what it also does, too, is a lot of times you want your young players to what you call mental reps from the sideline, where you're able to watch what's going on and insert yourself into the game. But now with this, I mean, he's actually, you know, back there seeing blitzes. He's getting a chance to see everything a quarterback would from that angle. And I think that will be beneficial down the road if he decides to go back to quarterback.
Johnson, some wiggle. Ehlinger is saying that he's one of the most athletic guys on the team, and he really feels like Johnson could play any position on the field except O-line, D-line, and cornerback.
Oh, boy.
It is selfless, though, for a guy, especially at the quarterback position, because more than any other position, guys that play quarterback, they don't move. And if they move, it's not because they are willing to make that move.
I think it's smart. And I also think with the new redshirting rule, it allows you to be more unselfish because at the end of the day now he can play 4 games and know he can still get this year back. And why not if that's the case? And I think this is what this rule, you know, as it's still very new, how coaches will use it.
Thompson on the run. He is quick and good yardage for Casey Thompson.
That's a design run. That's a design run. That's a quarterback draw, and they wanted him to go right up the middle. And this is what, for me, I wanted to see. You want to see him get some touches, get those cobwebs off, get some game action, rushing against some people in live action. And now you've minimized a 3rd and short situation. You can get into your offense and perhaps run what you would normally. As I would assume Texas is going to try to get a conversion here. You're still trying to grow his game, and this will be a good rep for him.
3rd and 4 for the redshirt freshman Casey Thompson. To Roschon. Trying to get the edge. And gets back to the line of scrimmage. And set up a 4th down. Buchevsky out to punt. Could develop into a real weapon for Texas special teams. Probably did not get enough credit for the job he did his freshman year, but it's tough.
Agreed.
When you follow your cousin, who's the greatest punter
it's well
in
on his
Texas
way.
history.
One of the best in the NFL, and his 3rd time punting tonight.
And inside the 10 for Buchevsky. That's where Louisiana Tech will take over with 3:37 remaining.
Media timeout.
Fire within, no one can see. The time has come. Face the day.
Pads will be popping at DKR next Saturday night as LSU and Texas will go head-to-head on ABC. Louisiana Tech bringing in Weston Elliott for the final 3.5 minutes to quarterback this drive. Swings it out to DeAndre Marcus, and Marcus with about 9 yards. What's the most intriguing matchup you see with the upcoming LSU-Texas matchup?
A young secondary against a veteran quarterback in Joe Burrow, and then you've got some wide receivers that appear to be finding their groove as well. And I think if you're Texas, you're going to have to figure out a way to lock down some of these guys. Terrace Marshall Jr. tonight had 4 catches, 3 touchdowns.
Now you can look at the physicality of Texas and how hard they go in camp. And the downside is things like they had coming into the season opener. Injuries to Kirk Johnson, Daniel Young, not a lot of running back depth. But we've also seen the upside and why Coach Herman practices like that. It's because it turns into a physical product on the team. And there's no argument about it. The more physical team in the Sugar Bowl, an SEC opponent, was Texas. And you go back to really what started Herman's ascension in the coaching world. The matchup between Houston and Oklahoma and how physical Houston was in that game.
And there's a reputation for Tom Herman. He has this old school approach, and just listening to he and Todd Orlando and Tim Beck actually talk about it, it's a risk you take. The risk is that you run the risk of your guys getting injured, but on the flip side, you turn out some guys and you know that they're either going to thump you or they're going to run from contact. And I think that's helped Texas find some gems and some players that are ready to play early.
Picked off, Overshown. DeMarvion, Overshown, hopping in front of it. Osai didn't get his, but Overshown comes up with the first pick of his career.
That's just a great job. He read the quarterback's eyes, slid right into underneath coverage, and a very acrobatic catch, and played a little wide out. They did it all in high school, and now utilizing those hands to get his first interception.
The star of Arp High School. Played in 9 games last year.
A lot of athletes roaming around there in the back.
Oh, man, it's
a big
talking
boy,
about a
too.
guy that came into last year as the #2 ranked safety in the nation. They had the top 3 in B.J. Foster, DeMarvion Overshone, and Caden Stearns. An embarrassment of riches in the secondary for Texas. Thompson looking right side, that's high, as he's looking for the freshman from St. Louis, Marcus Washington.
And that's an easy throw you'd like to see Thompson connect on. It's a rhythm throw. You've got space out there, and that ball was overthrown. But that's why you want to get these reps. You want to make sure that he starts to get comfortable.
Because as you alluded to, talking about Buechele from a year ago, you're a hit away.
Yeah.
And Ellinger has not been able to stay entirely healthy through a full season. There's a little authority there on the ground.
Great inside run. Nice blocking there by Gurmad.
8 yards for Roschon Johnson.
And Roschon is kidding. Coach, feed me more.
I like this running back spot. He last played running back when he was 9 years old.
Dante Davenport down, the senior defensive end from Shreveport. And it is. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, you start to talk about it. But I think at the same time, you know, when you're a running quarterback, there's not a lot of difference. I mean, you saw him there, see that crease on an interior run, and really do a good job of bursting through there and then pushing the pile.
If you're Tom Herman, does this make you comfortable enough to give him carries against LSU?
Well, you may have to. I mean, at this point, you just never know. And this game, the game will start a little earlier. And tonight it was humid. I don't know what the weather will be like next week, but you know, when you start to run into those types of conditions, the first thing you think about are can my players handle it?
Third and 2 coming up on 2 minutes. Roschon Johnson, first down, left side to the 15. That brings us to the StubHub 2019 upcoming schedule. LSU, all eyes on that. I'll tell you what, after that, September 21st, the Big 12 opener against Oklahoma State, that team looked really, really good and a dominant win at Oregon State.
They could definitely be a sleeper. And then Baylor also putting up some points. And I think they're going to be a lot better on defense. And with Charlie Brewer at quarterback, they've got the potential to also score points.
Thompson feeling pressure, floats it to Roschon Johnson, and he's inside the 5. 13 yards. Johnson is now doing it all. We've seen him with a catch. He's getting the carries. They're letting him do everything to make him as comfortable as possible at that running back spot. Thompson will keep in a big lick. Does he fight? Yes, he does. Second effort. Welcome to the end zone for the first time, Casey Thompson.
This was a well-managed, well-executed drive, and this is his strength. You know, until he starts to develop more as a passer, you really can trust him with this type of package. And it's a good decision here, nice cut. That's a big hit now. I mean, they pushed him back, and he still was determined to get in. And I don't know if he got in, if he broke that plane. That right knee was down.
No stoppage. As Dickert connects on the extra point to make it 45-14. All smiles for Tom Herman and Casey Thompson. What's Dad and the fam doing right now? I mean, celebrating, seeing their son and brother scoring a touchdown in burnt orange. A little different look for the Thompson family.
Yeah, but the bloodline runs deep, and you know, and it's when you see your family out there, it's a little bit different. I know typically they're putting the orange down, but right there, that might have been a time where they put them up.
So game day final is coming up next. Alex Loeb hosting. It's Ricky Williams. His statue has now been moved to the Texas Athletics Hall of Fame. Hasn't seen it yet. George Shipley on hand. George's been doing his curls. Look at that. We'll see that as soon as we are done here on the game broadcast on Longhorn Network. Once upon a time, I hosted shows with a guy named Ahmad Brooks on Texas Game Day.
Fun days, man. That was some of the best TV days of my life with you, Vince, Ricky, Chris Ricks.
Chris Ricks.
Yeah.
So Skip Holtz looking for some positivity. Try to wrap this one up, and this is what he's really proud about. Guys playing that have graduated, guys like Smith and Stallworth that would have an opportunity to go somewhere else as a grad transfer, but have decided to stick it out and play their final year in Ruston. Kevin Murphy, a guy on the defensive line, he's got a foot issue. He transferred from UConn, where he played for Bob
delay of
Diaco.
game by number 10 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still first down.
They also feel good about the two deep at quarterback, with Weston Elliott behind Jamar Smith. In the case that something does happen to Smith, who's been a rocket quarterback for Louisiana Tech. Next up for the Bulldogs, they will host Grambling. Big showdown, potentially, for them late in the season. November 9th, hosting UNT.
And Skip was very complimentary of what Tom is building here at the University of Texas. And obviously, if you wear that last name Holtz, you know a little bit about college football, but also, you know, his son went to school here and was a quarterback, and talked about how this program is developing and moving forward. And he said it's good when Texas football is winning. And despite this loss, he understands the bigger picture. And I would happen to agree with that, I think, and especially if the Big 12 contender wants a shot at getting into the college football playoff, Oklahoma and Texas have to be your two teams that are the premier teams in this conference.
Skip's on Trey, signed under Mac Brown, played under Charlie Strong. Walk-on quarterback, but was a holder, so got some time. He's now joined the family business. He's a graduate assistant at Ohio State, starting off his coaching career. The grandson of Lou Holtz. And Skip was able to make it down for graduation. Also caught some practices during spring. And a lot of respect. He grew up in Fayetteville with his dad coaching the Arkansas Razorbacks.
22 seconds.
So remembers some great battles between the Hogs and the Texas Longhorns. Tip of the cap to
There was a
Jamar
helmet
Smith.
off by a player. Please deduct 10 seconds off the clock. Set it at 12 seconds.
Good performance from Smith, though. 34 of 51 on the night, 331 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Starting his 4th straight season opener at quarterback for the Bulldogs.
That's the end of the game.
Tom Herman, 1-0 to start the 2019 campaign. And next up, it's a showdown against the Bayou Bengals.
It's going to be a fun one. Yeah, and I know all Texas fans are excited, and you start to think about it, it'll be one of those signature wins if they can get it for Sam Ehlinger and both Tom Herman. You know, to be able to do it in front of your home crowd, I think would be something huge, but it also puts you in the national spotlight and gives you that confidence moving forward that you can make a run at winning this conference, and in addition to that, be in the mix for the college football playoff, which our colleague Kirk Herbstreit believes that Texas will, at the end of the year, be one of those 4 teams.
Longhorns able to check a lot of boxes tonight. Ehlinger with a clean, exciting start. They were able to get Jordan Whittington into the game. A little scared maybe with his groin, but he came back. Jake Smith making his debut. Brennan Eagles, first 2 touchdown catches of his career. Devin Duvernay goes for a career high 9 catches, 55 yards, also had a touchdown, and Keontae Ingram with over 100 total yards. And for most of the game, the defense was brilliant as well.
Yeah, and you talk about those numbers, and they left some stuff out on the table. Some misfires from Sam with some wide-open wide receivers a few times, or the numbers would have been even better for number 11. And and he's healthy. He leaves the game, and he's going to play the next one. It's probably the best thing that happened for Texas tonight.
AB, it's always fun.
Pleasure on this side, my friend.
Love working with you, my man. After the eyes of Texas, Alex Loeb, Ricky Williams, Jordan Shipley, and Michael Griffin with an hour-long edition of Texas Game Day Final. Longhorns win the 2019 season opener 45-14. Time now for the eyes of Texas.